Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
I only know one truth. It's time for the podcast to end.
Good. Yes.
But see, the joke is that this is the beginning
Of the podcast.
of the episode.
And the podcast isn't going to end.
It's not.
It's 2018.
It's an end of a year.
It's coming. Yeah.
This is the end.
It's time for the podcast's year to end. After this episode is completed.
And
it's
then
beginning now.
A 1-week Christmas break. Hello, Merry Fennelmas, Happy Fennelka to all of you. Mm-hmm. I've been dropping Fennel from a lot of previous episodes, so I wanted to make it up here with some holiday greetings.
We've been phoning in Ben's introduction. Let's put it on the table.
Like, there's only so much time in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of me.
We've been DMing it in. We've been aiming it in.
Yeah. The thing people don't know is that when I start the introduction, we have a registered nurse come in and hook me up to an IV drip because I've started. There are a couple episodes where I pass out in the middle of doing Ben's introduction.
Yeah.
And then we have to hold for like an hour or two to resuscitate me before we can finish talking about Hollow Man.
Spoiler alert.
We talk about Hollow Man in our Hollow Man episode.
Also in the Basic Instinct episode.
In most
maybe.
episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Hi, this is Blank Check with Griffin and David. I'm Griffin.
I'm David.
Griffin Newman.
Sims.
My name is Griffin Newman and I rock the mic.
Sims. And
Baby
I
Sims.
also rock the mic.
Yeah. This is a podcast about filmographies. Directors who have massive success early on in their career and given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. Sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes they bounce, baby.
Okay.
But before we blossomed like a butterfly out of a cocoon, our earlier larval state,
Very larval.
yes,
Highly larval.
was that of a No Bits Pro Smiths podcast, a podcast about the Phantom Menace trilogy. Mm-hmm. But it became a trilogy, and we were
I'm loading up Wikipedia.
We talked the wars.
Yeah, we used to be a Star Wars podcast for like a whole year. We talked about the prequels for forever.
We
and
were
then
war boys.
Tossed off some episodes about the original movies.
That are very
Contentious and
I was gonna say friendly and fun and light.
and remember when we recorded all of those in like 3 days?
I know. Well, you know the other thing about that is, and just like look at how time passes. Okay, when we recorded those episodes, I was retired. Right, I had retired from entertainment. My career was over.
Is that how like what was that thing you were talking about? Involuntary celibacy.
Oh, incel. Yeah. I was.
You were like one of those
in-ret.
virgins who was right,
In
okay.
ret.
Okay, go ahead.
Involuntary retirement.
Okay, go on.
I was going through a rough period where I was blacklisted from the industry due to not being talented enough.
Due to disinterest. Complete lack of interest in you.
Yeah. But then somehow I got people to hire me.
It's called the blank check bump, my friend.
Thank you.
That's what it's called.
Well, and in the opposite direction. When we were recording our episodes about the sequel trilogy, which of course is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, the sequels, right?
Yeah.
We were very stressed out because we had not seen The Force Awakens yet. It was right before The Force Awakens came out. But a lot of your friends, your colleagues in the world of film criticism had seen it.
Right.
And you had this irritation about the fact that it's so close and yet so
press
far.
screening for Force Awakens 2 years ago.
And you've slid like Giffield into the last two Star Wars movies early.
Yeah.
So we saw fucking Force Awakens together for the first time.
Right. It was fresh for both of us
But
when we
Rogue
saw
One
that. Yeah.
and now The Last Jedi,
Yeah,
you're
I saw
sitting
them before
there
you.
with me and with Ben, producer Ben, the Ben Deucer, the poet laureate, the Haas, Mr. Positive, Mr. Positive, the tiebreaker, finest film critic, the poet laureate, birthday Benny, the peeper, the fart detective,
had good seats,
the meat
though.
lover. We had really good seats, reserved seating,
Yeah.
soaking wet Benny, white hot Benny.
I bought those tickets.
That's what I was
Dirt
saying.
Bike
Thank you.
Benny,
Those seats, yeah.
graduate to certain talls over the course of different researchers. Producer Ben Kenobi, Ben Night Shyamalan, Ben Say Anything, ... Ailey Benz with the $, Warhaz, Purdue Urbane, and Ben 19 the Fennel Maker. And I reordered a little bit today because most relevantly, Kylo Ben.
Oh.
True.
Yeah.
Ben Solo.
But really Kylo Ben.
Really Kylo Ben.
Really Kylo Ben.
yeah.
Really Kylo Ben.
I was there too. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben.
But you
As
had
we
seen it
sit
for a
down,
second time.
I'd seen it.
You were fucking old pro. Like
Right,
you knew
I
your
wa-
way around the movie.
And the first time I saw it, which was 3 days earlier at the press
Humble
screening,
brag.
which is not that much.
But it feels like a lifetime. Especially because I'm logging on, and you and Esther Zuckerman and fucking Rylaws, you're throwing out inside jokes.
Got porgs.
Yeah.
Porg jokes.
Oh, all
Inside
of you.
porgs.
Yeah.
And it is, for one, the press screening audience was amped and really, really appreciative and loud and like laughing and clapping and like really into it. Whereas our audience
last night was a little bottled.
They like cheered at like the movie's like 2 or 3 largest moments, but apart from that, we're pretty much like quiet, right?
Correct. But we also didn't have an uprising at our theater, unlike some theaters.
Oh wait, what happened in some theaters?
Do you not know about this thing?
An uprising.
Okay, so like these theaters, these multiplexes, every screen pretty much is devoted to Last Jedi, so that they have a screening going on every 20 minutes, right?
Yes.
Because like we
And
ended up
chaos.
We ended up sitting next to a friend, Patrick Hotner.
We
Patrick
did.
walks the walk Hotner. By total chance, he had the reserved seat next to
He
us.
reserved in row H,
And
in
I
theater
assure
6
you,
of the 34th Street AMC.
I would not have let that happen on purpose.
No, I was horrified. No, it was nice to see Patrick.
But like, I ran into friends in the lobby and the escalator.
Yeah.
And I was like,
ran
are we in
into
the same
Hannah
theater?
Blackman,
My friend
friend of
Stephen
the show.
Kelly I saw
Yeah.
in the escalator. And it was like, are you at the 10:30? And he was like, no, I'm at the 10:20.
I'm at the 10:29.
Right, are you right? Yeah, it was. They're like this regular.
Yes.
So they're kept on a really tight clock because they're trying to squeeze as many showtimes as they can on every screen, running nonstop.
Not only
with
that,
a long movie.
Not only that, we weren't allowed into the theater like 15 minutes before it started. I think they were really
letting out.
like having the tight times between be really tight.
They're bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
So some AMC with like 16 screens. I don't know what city it's in. Okay.
Sure.
They one of the screenings, one of the 10:45 screenings where people have like bought their tickets fucking 3 months in advance and amped to see Star Wars. Trailers around, everything's normal. Movie starts, no sound.
Yeah. Great.
Zero
Just what
sound.
you want. So it's just like
Yes.
I was doing
For
the
the
Star
listener at
Wars
home,
title.
David's doing the crawl and the floating Star Wars title silently. That's
God, that would be so upsetting.
Right.
Because you really need that, you need that.
So immediately
immediate-
everyone knows something's wrong.
Right,
But
right,
but
right.
like the sound isn't even. I would be bummed out if I didn't get that initial blast, but then the sound was turned on a millisecond after.
That would be bummed out too. But right.
But they're going through the crawl and there's still
So
no
within
sound.
1 minute, people are eating each other, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
Like, yeah.
So they start going out to the lobby and complaining, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And they're saying, like, restart it.
Yeah, of course.
Restart the movie.
Of
like,
course.
we need to get off on a good foot.
Yeah.
Restart it. And they're struggling to figure out what it is, and it takes like 15 minutes where the film is playing now into dialogue scenes with no sound.
Jesus. And like some people are still in there watching this.
But
right,
a lot
yeah.
of the crowd has come out and they're like mutinying.
And also the first section of this movie is all sound.
Correct.
There's not like dialogue is not what's, matters here.
Although you get some A+ Gleason whimpering.
Oh, we're gonna
We're gonna
get
get
into
to it.
all of it.
But so they're out now chanting, and you have people with fucking swords, right? With like laser swords.
They can cut through anything.
Yeah. And they're like chanting, restart it, restart it, restart it.
These
and
poor AMC employees. Yes.
And then this one fucking AMC employee comes out and he
Yeah.
goes like, okay, we've identified the problem.
Sure.
The sound is back on in the theater because most of the theater has now left that
Yeah,
screen,
of course,
right?
right.
No one's like still in there because we've identified the problem. The sound is back on. Unfortunately, we will not be able to restart the film. So
My jaw just dropped.
We can refund your tickets and you can pick a later showing. And it's like, but the fucking all of them are sold
They're
out.
all sold out. Oh my God.
And there are videos online, but it led to police being called in.
I'm not
It
surprised.
didn't turn violent, but the AMC employee, I think, was so terrified for his well-being.
I would be terrified. I feel bad for the AMC employees, to be clear, because
I also feel
they
bad
didn't
for
really ask for this.
I feel bad for the cops who showed up and then just saw a bunch of kids in like X-Wing suits going like, yeah, they're just chanting restart it. This isn't a police matter.
Did you see my favorite tweet about Star Wars?
Which one?
About the town?
No.
And there have been so many great. Everyone's been out there on their A game being funny.
Yeah.
But
shout out to Ben Meckler, who has my favorite tweet thread.
that one's good.
I won't spoil
About
it
the
for you.
Vidalia onions.
Okay, Google Ben Meckler. Vidalia onions.
This is
Great
from
thread.
Dan Klein. So fucking annoyed. Crowd at my Last Jedi screening wouldn't stop chanting, the town, over and over again until the theater buckled and played Ben Affleck's The Town instead.
That's a joke about the restarted thing, though. Because the restarted thing
That's
went
why I'm
viral.
bringing it
Yeah.
up, yes. The town.
Yeah. But you watch the video of all of them like swarming like the lobby surrounding this like 18-year-old AMC general manager, and it feels like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Like it feels like
All right.
Shirley Jackson's The Lottery.
All right. But we saw it at the 34th Street AMC, which is a pretty mediocre theater.
It's a real middle of the road multiplex.
Yeah. And the seats are really bad.
Yeah, bad seats.
Awful. I mean, like our seats were like our
Yeah.
view was fine, but like those seats are just cruddy.
Which is also fascinating because it's a relatively recent theater on the grand scheme of things. It was opened in like 2003, 2004.
It was. I think AMC is just revamping theater by theater. You know
Yeah.
how the the Times Square one's nicer now,
Right.
And I think
Maybe
this one
because
just
it's-
hasn't happened yet. Yeah, because
Also,
it's
maybe because it's
newer,
the newest
quote-
of the
quote, unquote.
AMCs that it's now the last in line to be renovated. But God, it certainly isn't looking great these days.
No.
It's also this annoying theater where the bathrooms are on a different floor.
Well, that's the
So it
worst
takes a
thing
long
about it.
time.
Although those bathrooms are appreciably massive.
They're great.
But yes.
Yes, IMAX bathrooms. But we saw it there.
Yeah.
And we watched the movie. So that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe.
Oh, no, I wanted to just say what I thought of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Good. Okay, so
All
now
right.
we're done?
No,
Yeah.
I liked it too. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Done?
All right.
Cool.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know.
No, it's the song. Everyone knows the song.
All right, but wait. Can I propose something? All right, so we did our ending song, but can we just do a postscript where we like go in a little more depth?
But this is like at the end when we like sometimes Ben will slip in the outtakes. At the end,
All right, so this is the postscript about the movie. Just a
name
little
of the
more depth.
show is Blank Check.
You know, a lot of people are like, great, they liked it, swipe, delete. But you know, if you just want a little more depth, this is the postscript, right?
Sure.
Ben, not interested in my bits.
So let's,
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let's get into it.
This is like the 8th time Ben's recorded with us in the last 20 minutes.
yeah. Right now we've recorded the entire Verhoeven miniseries plus bonus episodes.
Correct.
And like palette cleansers and stuff like that. We've already started our next miniseries, which we haven't announced yet.
Yep.
We're like fucking zooming. We're at hyperspeed, baby.
Oh, few parsecs ahead of everyone else.
Correct. Well, you know, we are connoisseurs of context. And so it's important to note, we saw this Thursday night. David, you've
and
seen
I'd
it
seen
twice.
it before.
We've
so
seen
right.
it once.
I did not have, the first time I saw it, I was really on edge.
Yeah.
Really, this movie really, like I don't know if you seemed very into it. I was sitting next to you. You were doing a lot of like thumbs upping and a lot
I'm
of
not a
like,
very anxious person. You know, I have a cool...
You definitely were doing a lot of like moving around and like
Like,
putting
at one
a hat
point
on,
I
taking a
noticed
hat off.
you laughing at me doing a jag of scratching different parts of my
Yeah,
body
yeah,
for
yeah.
45 continuous seconds.
was pretty funny.
I literally did like...
Yeah. But I mean, I was like that. I
Yeah.
had Esther next to me who I would grab a lot.
Sure.
I feel where Esther and I feel are close enough. Maybe Esther disagrees that I can grab her shoulders in emotionally taxing moments of The Last Jedi.
I don't like talking during movies unless I have a really good joke.
Oh yeah, like that one time you leaned over and you said, "It's Luke Skywalker,"
Oh yeah, that was a really good one.
where you pointed at Luke Skywalker and said, "That's Luke Skywalker."
Okay, I thought you were going to spoil my other joke.
No,
which is
no,
my
your
crush
other
joke of
joke
all
you
time.
can
Don't.
do.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fine.
I slapped you a couple times, and
No,
then I
I'm
pointed
into
at
the
the
slapping.
screen, and then I said, "It's Luke Skywalker."
You're right. But the first time I was really freaked out. The second time I was a little more like.
My point is, my communication method when I'm watching movies and I don't want to get into long conversations is to thumbs up at the screen to like show approval to the movie.
Right. Yes.
I like what you're doing right now.
Yes.
I do a lot of thumbs upping.
I just feel, especially with these movies, the first time I see it, I'm so nervous about literally just capital W. What is going to happen? You know what I mean?
I felt that during Force Awakens,
Yeah.
but I was more assured knowing that you liked the movie, that our
Sure.
friends
So
liked
it's like
the movie.
it's not like halfway through someone's just gonna like poop and they're gonna be like
Right.
the poop is the Jedi,
Right.
or something. I don't know. I was trying to think of like a terrible thing.
Right. Yes. I mean, that would be kind of actually rad if that happened in the middle of the film.
Be good.
But, you know, the critical response has been so positive, and even like David Ehrlich, who does not like the Star Wars films, thinks
Sure.
they do not rise to the level of
He's not
Kingdom of
very
the Crystal
interested in
Skull.
them.
You know? a take that no one has ever had any problem with.
No, everyone's happy
on our
about it.
podcast. It's not something that message boards are still complaining about months later, as if
We
it's
love
a
you,
relevant
David.
recent
We're going to have
thing.
you back soon.
Yeah, Ehrlich's going to be on very
He's
soon.
listening.
And I'm sure all of you are going to love that episode.
Yeah.
But he loved it, so I was like, oh man, this seems to be like a Star Wars movie that everyone's going to get behind. And in the last 24 hours since it's come out, a lot of conflicting opinions.
This movie is divisive, although I have been struggling to parse the difference between what seems almost like organized from a very vocal, sort of part of the Star Wars online fandom.
Right. It's like
this sort of like almost like campaign-esque, like that was bad, let's push that out right away.
Which this is
reminiscent of a lot of these fandoms,
Well, that's what our culture these days is all about, like very, very loud vocal minorities waging wars on things.
With these complaints of things like it's too funny, it's too wacky, but also, which we'll get into, and this is going to be a spoiler heavy episode, obviously. So.
Yeah, and also right now we're at the end of the episode. Like we're already in like the post-roll, like bonus content of the episode that has ended. So who cares?
Exactly. Who cares? No one's listening right now. Yeah. I really think that I really genuinely think no one's listening to this episode.
0 people.
No one's interested.
No.
That there's, I think a lot of people had a lot of ideas of where this story was going to go, and they were surprised at writer-director Rian Johnson's perhaps like sort of, story choices. His disinterest maybe in a couple of characters, especially
bold story
one character
choices
in particular.
Yes, I don't think it's a perfect movie.
Oh, interesting. I do.
I don't know if I think it's a great movie yet.
Oh, well, I totally think it's
I know
a great
you
movie.
do.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Oh my God. Ben, listen to this shit.
I'm still stewing over it. I definitely need to see it more times.
I'm stewing over
process
you.
more fully.
I'm gonna make you into
stew. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a good movie. I'll say this unequivocally.
Yeah.
It leaves me really excited about the future of Star Wars.
That's fine. That's cool.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
I maybe had
of
a more
course.
visceral, sort of charged experience watching Force Awakens, but Force Awakens is like a movie that's all about trying to just be like, you love Star Wars.
Yeah, and also like meet these people. That's what The Force Awakens is all about. Like,
but in all my conversations about Force Awakens since then, my thing's always been like, okay, but where do they go from here? You know?
Right.
And this makes me feel like Star Wars is evolving into something
with a future. I get what you're saying.
And something new and adapting for the times and not just being a revival tour.
I'm really worried about something.
What?
I had much more hope for the future of this franchise when Colin Trevorrow was at the helm, established.
I mean, look,
of Episode 9.
You got 2 good entries. How do you close out a trilogy? You need a visionary.
You call the captain.
Uncompromised.
Captain Colin. Who I got him. Griffin like fell down. Captain. You call the captain.
You go make it happen, Captain.
You say make it happen, Captain. And then Colin Trevorrow, it turned out he was too good a director to make Star Wars Episode 9.
And that is the problem. And let's make
Kathleen
it clear
Kennedy
here.
approached him and just said, Colin, with tears in her eyes, like, I can't make you do this. You're too good.
This is exclusive. We're gonna bust this open right here. Scoop Troop.
I feel mean.
Get out your ice cream scoops because here's the story.
She saw the Book of Henry and she just was like, no.
Yeah. She said, I don't want to make a movie that's a masterpiece.
No, I'm not interested.
I'm not. I'm here to make product. I'm here to push product, Colin. There's the door.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and that's why Colin's off. So we have J.J. Abrams for Episode 9, and it'll be fine, but it's just...
whatever.
Whatever.
It does leave me excited. Okay, so let's talk about...
You want me to give you the crawl?
Yeah, well, no, I want to talk about... I want to ask you about 2 things before that.
Okay.
You used a term today in your run of tweets responding to the weird backlash. What I believe you called middle of center film Twitter? Left of center film Twitter?
Right of center film Twitter, sorry.
Can you explain to me what this is?
Okay, so I saw a tweet from Ross Douthat. I forget, the guy, he's a New York Times op-ed columnist. And he likes to write, he's a political op-ed columnist who's very whatever. He's
and you're saying that's what his voice, he talks like.
No, he's an Atlantic alumnus, I should say.
Okay.
But he writes about pop culture too, right? Like he likes to have takes, and he's a conservative.
A little competition is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm really aware. No, he's a conservative columnist.
Okay.
Oh, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But young-ish.
Ooh.
Ish. I mean, I think he's... Anyway, and he tweeted...
Young conservative, like 61, 62.
Right. So I'm waking up and I'm just looking at my Twitter.
Yeah.
And I see someone quoting him saying, and here's his tweet, impressively strong anti-Last Jedi consensus among right-of-center film Twitter. And now he says, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to have to weigh in.
Which, look, I love think pieces from people who haven't seen movies. One of my absolute favorite
But
things.
he's highlighting people, again, on this sort of, and I guess it's sort of like this kind of like, they're not even all film critics, but like right-wing or, you know, sort of soft right to middle right-wing pundits and people like Kyle Smith of National Review and Sonny Bunch of the Free Beacon.
So right of center literally
weigh
means
in on culture.
Politically right-leaning people who are adjacent to film Twitter.
Right. And so I sort of click around and look at all these guys' pieces that they all wrote.
Yeah.
And then I think about the movie and I posted what I thought was something that was definitely not snarky at all, where I was like, I wonder why right of center film Twitter didn't like it. Scratching my chin.
Yeah.
Well,
these are the same people who felt that Rogue One was an attack on the Trump administration because it features space Nazis. Which, let me say it again.
Remember that.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're watching a movie and you feel that the space Nazis, who are depicted the exact same way that those space Nazis have been depicted for 40 years of a film franchise, maybe they're not making fun of you. Maybe you've become a space Nazi.
It's that the thing in Justified where it's like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you meet an asshole. He might be the asshole. You meet assholes all day.
You might be the asshole. Maybe you're a space Nazi now.
All right. Anyway, so that's what I was referring to. What was the other thing you wanted to say?
Well, so speaking of this, there is a Star Wars merchandise website that I frequent. That I have strong moral objections to.
Ben and I just looked at each other with what I can only describe as dread.
You did, and
resigned dread.
Get ready for the merchandise spotlight coming because it is. I'm gonna do a fucking tutorial.
That's great. I can't wait to kill you.
I'm not just gonna describe something. I'm gonna do a presentation.
I can't wait to commit the sin of murder.
Yeah. But this website sucks. They have really good photography.
Do you want to say the name of it, or are we not?
I'm wondering whether or not to include it. I'll call it Jedi Temple Archives.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's purporting that he's sort of like the fucking Jocasta Nu of the Star Wars merchandise.
Everyone's favorite character.
Right, you know? But he's sort of, he's got a good database of merchandise. But he, like, lords over the other rival Star Wars sites. He wants to be in good graces with big Hasbro, you know? Which, mind you, Hasbro's angling to buy out Mattel,
can you make
which
this
is the
fast?
Disney Fox of the toy
Yeah, all
world.
right. Can you make
which
this
no
fast?
one's talking about?
We need to talk about the movie. Jesus
He's
Christ.
a toy boy. Let him go.
Yeah. I know. It's just like we're leading with this. What's up? What's up with Jedi Temple Archives?
Hasbro buying Mattel would be a monopoly, and it would
I don't care. What's up?
create moral conflicts within the entire toy industry.
Yeah.
This guy has been on. He loves Star Wars. He loves the merchandise. He's even a decent prequel defender, right? But he has been staunchly anti Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars.
Okay.
And he always cites her as being the person who owns this Star Wars, this incarnation of Star Wars, and is always referring to the agenda that she's trying to push with her movies.
Oh, this sounds bad.
Yep. You know, I mean, I'm not racist. I just think, you know, if you're going to put people of different races in movies, you shouldn't make a big deal out of it. It should just be normal.
I hate this shit.
Which is what these
all right.
fucking movies
We're
are.
going to move past this really
So,
fast unless you have something else to say.
No, he's been really against fucking hated Force Awakens, hated Rogue One.
Yeah.
He's been shit talking Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
When all the good Last Jedi reviews came out, he found the one that was bad and was like, well, some people don't like it.
Sure.
I was ready for this guy to take it down, and he really liked it.
Yeah, he liked it. I was just
And
looking at his review.
And he's pretty much like a right of center, like fucking Star Wars dude.
Same type guy.
So it is interesting to me that I don't think it's just a political ideology thing. I think it is, he's challenging our relationships with Star Wars.
I agree.
Which I think is definitely the most
challenging,
powerful
also
element of this
digging
movie.
Into, I would say.
Yeah, that's the thing I unquestionably like about this movie.
The other thing I like about this movie is like sort of like the beginning part where there's the Lucasfilm logo through to the credits. Those are my favorite parts of the movie.
I'm not going to weigh in on things I think don't work because they're still stewing in my brain. There's some things where I'm batting around my thoughts on execution. But I think
I'm going to execute you.
I know you will once we get to the merchandise spotlight.
Oh God.
But I do think I like everything this movie is saying. I like everything this movie is doing.
All right, we're doing the crawl.
Okay. Da, 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 Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. I'm going to sing it and you read the crawl. Da, 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 Star Wars.
I'll turn his mic down.
Thank you. The First Order reigns. Griffin, what do you think of that first line?
Yes, cool. Keep it going. Da, 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 da,
Usually you offer opinions on the thing, on the crawl as we go
Wait,
through
I'm
it.
going to save it up for when it counts.
Having decimated the peaceful republic.
Decimated! Oh, fuck!
Having decimated the peaceful republic, Supreme Leader Snoke now deploys the merciless legions.
Okay, now at this point I'm going, Snoke? Could have used less of that guy in the previous movie. Are we going to go heavy on Snoke? I'm saying I'm playing the role of me at this point watching the film.
Understood.
I got a little brain because I think Snoke is dumb. I don't know what I'm about to be taught.
Very true. Deploys the merciless legions to seize military control of the galaxy. Only General Leia Organa's
Cool,
band,
still cool. Get excited every time I hear that title.
band of resistance fighters stand against the rising tyranny, certain that Jedi Master Luke Skywalker will return
Another cool title.
and restore a spark of hope to the fight.
I like Spark of Hope, but it's a pretty straightforward crawl.
I'm not done. But the resistance has been exposed. As the First Order speeds towards the rebel base, the brave heroes mount a desperate escape. ...
Now I like the word desperate because I like stakes.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that I think Rian Johnson does really well in this movie, which is keep the resistance with their backs up against the wall.
Correct.
They're up against the wall and you go, oh, that's the last wall. And then he breaks through the wall and he puts them up against another wall.
Todd Vanderwerf pointed out that this this sort of fleeing plot line is somewhat vaguely related to the episode 33 of Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if you've ever watched Battlestar Galactica. It's one of the greatest ever episodes of television.
Okay, I've only seen the miniseries.
Okay, well, you're a big old poop.
Mm-hmm.
But I
you seem
also
really
love
happy
this.
with me this episode.
I love you so much. I'm really into this movie.
Mary Fenelmus.
Yes.
Sharpening a knife, folks.
Yes, I am. Big old steak knife. No, and like that, I love, the fleet is what we can see.
Mm-hmm.
It's
contained.
A bunch of ships. That's all we got at this point.
Right. Because, some people have that complaint about Force Awakens.
Like,
that's
what's the infrastructure of these two things?
We're jumping in media res,
yeah.
and the First Order and the Resistance have both been launched and are at cruising altitude.
Right,
but where did this come from?
Explained.
Who's running it?
Right.
Who's bankrolling it?
Right. And now you have a better, like, the Resistance was, something that I didn't think about. The Republic was not allowed to have an army because of how that went last time.
Badly.
Not good.
Not good. No good, very bad.
The whole problem of them having an army was that when the Emperor just went like, by the way, we're an empire now.
Yeah.
Then he had an army to enforce that with,
Yes.
So no army, right?
Also, they had to take out like a lot of bank loans to cover like a lot of clones.
This is true. Now, Sifo-Dyas was deep pockets. Deep
But then
pockets.
he fucking died and left them with the bill.
Deep pockets.
He stuck him with the bill.
They called him Deep Pockets Sifo-Dyas.
He like put down a deposit.
Sifo Deep Pockets.
Well, he did have the deepest pockets in the galaxy. We all know that.
Yes.
But then he died.
He did die. Off screen. We never met him.
Yeah.
He never existed.
So he's probably still alive with my grandma and TC-14.
All true. TC-14, just off the top of the not in the movie.
Not in the movie. Okay, can I run down a couple of people who aren't in the movie?
Yeah.
TC-14, not in the movie.
No.
Jimmy Smith's not in the movie, playing any character.
Unfortunately.
Watto, not in the movie.
No.
Gragra, not in the movie.
Not that we know of.
Dexter Jetster, not in the movie.
Not in the movie?
I'll say this. He's not in the movie. But he's also not in the film.
Uh-huh.
Porgs, in the movie. Gorgs, not in the movie.
No. That's an episode 9 thing.
Gorgs?
Yeah, Gorgs.
Yeah.
They'll come back.
Yeah. Episode 9's Rise of the Gorg.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Armand Asante, not in the movie.
Really? He wasn't one of the foxes?
No.
Okay, all right.
I thought so too.
But then you checked
because the bone structure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. The heating's been off in my apartment for 2 days, and I'm losing my mind.
He's just a homeless person right now. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe this. Down to your Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got, as the movie opens, not a shot of a spaceship going overhead.
Mm-mm.
Not a shot of a spaceship sort of silhouetting a planet, which is what Abrams went for. We go into this like crash zoom onto the Rebel fleet.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
IMO.
Yeah, David's holding out his fist.
And Williams is J Dubs
yeah,
is going wild right away. I don't know if I've been listening to the score a lot.
I haven't yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
Look, I'll say it didn't pop to me in the first viewing, but the same thing happened with Force Awakens, which I now think is a great score.
Amazing score.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is borrowing a lot of his, much like the original sequels. He's
Yeah.
using a lot of the themes he sets up in the Force Awakens. You know,
Yes.
and mixing them around and doing. So we're crashing in on the Rebel fleet. Yeah, you're no response to this.
No, I'm into it. I'm letting you. You've seen it twice. You got a better
Crashing
handle on
in.
it. Yeah.
To the Rebel fleet. All
Yeah,
right,
it's cool stuff.
Yeah, so
Like
the
'em. Good
opening
guys.
sequence is a big space battle.
The Resistance fighters, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. A big space battle, and very quickly we see a cool X-Wing. And who's that little head poking out of the back? Well, it's our old friend, Bobby Bertram 8.
Uh-huh. Well, we also are seeing the people that the rebels the resistance is leaving this planet.
Yes.
And there's that great shot of Billy Lord looking at the sky.
Oh, yeah.
And you see the Star Destroyers arriving by hyperspace in the sky.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
A lot of Billy Lord in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked her.
With her little cinnamon buns.
Yeah, she's got little sort of cinnamon bumps. More
Right.
like
Not like a cinnamon, but like a box of Entman's, like
like donut holes.
little donut holes. Yeah.
Yeah, what is her character called?
Connix? Is that right? I think it's Connix. I believe it's Connix. I think the name of the character.
Correct.
I nailed it?
Yes, Cadel Coconyx.
I was going to say I nailed it on the first try, but technically that was like a hyper try because I guessed 5 times in one go.
But she's, all right, so big space battle, right, and we're with Poe.
Uh-huh.
He's in his X-Wing.
Yeah.
And he's taken on this dreadnought ship.
There's another Resistance woman who we get a lot of in these scenes. A
In
lot
the
of
A-Wing?
times. Yes, right? No, there's that woman with a lot of schnoz. There's a
But
woman with the
she's on
prominent
the
nose.
main ship. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying her and Connix are kind of the two like point people when we need like exposition or we need like a human reaction shot to what's going on.
Here, I want to call up that actress's name. Who is she?
Because she just feels like a very Star Warsy actress.
She does, in that she strikes me as like some kind of like esteemed British stage actress, right? Like,
who just has like a good face.
fuck, who is she though? Why do I not know?
Connix? I'm guessing maybe Connix is her character's name. Connix?
You hit once with that, but
I'm feeling good about my odds. Send me to Canto Bite, baby. I'm on a roll. Okay, so yes. You can describe this better than I can because you've seen it twice. I'm still trying to remember.
Amanda Lawrence is the actress's
Cool.
name, and she's playing Commander Dacey.
Okay.
She's cool. Yeah, anyway. But no, it's right. Poe is stalling for time. There's this big dreadnought ship.
Yes.
Sort of like a new Star Destroyer thingy. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's got big cannons.
Yeah, but I mean, major props right off the bat. This movie has no Death Stars.
Yeah, no, true. 0 Death Stars.
Yes.
It does have big guns.
But it doesn't feel the need to eviscerate planets to create stakes, which I like.
I also
agreed. Yes, you're
felt like this movie, maybe for the first time, at least for me, I was able to grasp more how the battle is going to go, like the strategy of
The
it.
military strategy element
It
of
felt
it.
way
Yes.
more clear. I actually
what
was
I
like, oh,
sort of-
they're like
right.
battleships.
That's kind of what I mean about the Battlestar Galactica thing. Right. Yeah, where it's like they've never like even thought about like shields before in any kind of major
This
way.
movie also gets into like war
Range.
profiteering and stuff,
Oh, it's
which
so
like
good.
I think
Guys,
is really
this movie's
cool.
fucking great.
It's a good movie. But yes, like there was all that like fucking jerk off talk when Rogue One came out, which I don't know if you know this, but this Star Wars movie is a war movie.
Well, right. I mean, I think that was more what Gareth Edwards' pitch was, and
Right.
then
But
that got
was,
sort
like-
of smoothed out.
Right,
Yeah.
and it was really just in the aesthetics of like how he shot it and how he choreographed the fight scenes and all of that. But this is a movie that's actually like more concerned with the sort of like the DNA of war than any Star Wars movie I think has been before. And showing how wars are actually fought in boardrooms and in fucking.
I know what you mean.
You know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I mean, right. I think this movie is, or one of the main pulses of this movie, which is something I'm trying to write about, is that it's like about like what the rebellion actually is, rather than just the good guys. If that makes sense, like about the motivation behind like being a rebel.
Yeah.
Rather than just being a good guy.
That's also, but look, that's the cornerstone of Star Wars. The reason it's connected over all these years is it's about these choices we make with the power we have.
I think this movie is way more interested in that than most of the Star Wars movies.
I agree, but I think he's honing in on something that's elemental. You know, I mean, it's that,
so.
that
My
balance.
argument is kind of not that. So now I'm worried my take is bad.
Thing. I don't know.
No, it's just like the rebels have always just been the good guys.
Yes,
and in this, that's not really true. They are good guys. But he wants them to be rebels. Like this is a movie about like the value of being in a rebellion rather than being a good guy. Because Finn's a good guy, but when this movie begins, he is not a rebel. He was never really a rebel. And this movie, you know, his arc especially is about him accepting the concept of like being a rebel.
Let me finesse my point.
Please.
What I think the Star Wars movies are about are what makes a person good, what makes a person bad.
Yeah.
And I think this film is very interested in that. You know, the active choices we make, our actions versus our words, you know, those sorts of things. And this movie like really doubles down on that in a much messier way, which I love.
Agree.
I love all the politics of this movie.
All right. So big space fight. Though.
Right.
First, he's just like, here we go, baby. Let's watch Poe Dameron be like a badass dogfighter who's like better than everyone else and that's can do it just on pure like ego alone.
I think regardless of where you stood on Force Awakens, I think everyone had the exact same criticism. Love it or hate it. Everyone walked out of that movie with the exact same criticism, which was not enough Poe Dameron.
Sure, because he was kind of a character that was almost added midway through the movie. Like he wasn't supposed to live, and then they were like, "Oh, we're going to keep you around," but he doesn't. Right,
and then you got fucking Oscar Isaac. You got like a fucking supernova.
Yep.
You know, so this movie knows we got an ace up the sleeve. We're going to play it. And we're
so
you
were happy. You were giving a lot of thumbs up.
I love him. He's one of my best friends I've ever had. Have you been reading the Poe Dameron comic book?
No,
it rules.
I don't read these things.
I haven't been reading the Star Wars comics as thoroughly as I should, but the Poe Dameron comic I cannot recommend enough. Charles Soule writes it. And it characterizes him really well because I think Poe Dameron's a really interesting inversion and deconstruction of Han Solo. Because Han Solo's whole thing is acting like he doesn't give a shit. And Poe Dameron totally gives a shit and wants you to know how much he gives a shit.
He gives a shit.
He wants to be a hero, but he's also still maybe a little too obsessed with the performative aspects of being a hero.
As Leia puts it so beautifully in a line that I assume was written by Carrie Fisher. Because apparently she wrote most of her own lines.
Cool.
Get your head out of your cockpit.
Yeah. That's a real Carrie Fisher joke.
Yeah. It's so good. I think. Yes. I think that's the kind of thing some fans are annoyed about, though. Why is Leia making a cock joke?
I have problems with certain comedy moments, which we'll get to later.
Oh, I have problems with no comedy moments.
You love everything about this movie. We
Correct.
get it.
Except for one thing.
What?
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Too short.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. Too short. He takes out the dreadnoughts.
No, I was just gonna say, just so I can recommend this.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you read like the comic book adaptation spin-offs of movies, it feels like fucking fan fiction.
Yeah.
The characterization Poe Dameron's so good. It actually made me love the character even more going into this film.
Talk about the movie.
We're talking about it right now.
It's 2.5 hours long.
So Poe is kind of doing that bit with the commander.
Yes.
So funny.
Yes.
So it's basically he's like communicating with
he's doing a real can you hear me now?
Yeah, exactly. So funny.
Yes. It's great comedy. He gets 10 comedy points. Hux even reluctantly gives him the comedy points.
Yes, very well. 10 points.
Your favorite character.
All right, so Hux is there. He's not on the dreadnought, he's on like whatever the lead ship, but he is, as you noted, he's been made up even to look a little pastier, and his eyes have like eyeliner on them, like
and he's
some
got
kind
like
of
red
liner.
bags.
Yeah, like
and he's doing full grimace, and his voice is even Weasleyer.
He's just so resonant in 2017 to me.
Yeah,
that character where you like even in 2015, which he was very funny in, and he's doing the same bit, which is like, you know, this sort of almost a parody of the British villain, right?
I also
he's so like that's the guy. That's the little red pill guy.
I find all of Star Wars so resonant in 2017 because this whole thing about the dark side, whether they take the form of the First Order or the Sith or what have you, right? The Empire. It's these guys who are like actively choosing to be bad. Like we have a lot of villains in film franchises who think they're doing the right thing.
Right. Hux is bad. Hux likes to be bad.
Which is like these fucking red pill guys we're dealing with where they're like, I want the fucking power.
Right.
And I'm going to choose to play the shit
bad thing? That's my opinion on that.
I'm Mike Chernovich, you know? Like, I'm going to fucking own you hating me.
But I just love Hux. I love him. We got married.
You did.
Spoiler
Congratulations, and my apologies to Joanna. I could have stopped it. They asked if I had any objections.
What do they? One light fighter. He just every line.
With
he just
this ring, I do thee well. God, I can't fucking talk. Jesus Christ.
So Poe takes out the cannons on the dreadnought. BB-8
Yes.
helps out. He zaps his own head for a second, right? So
That's cool when he's inside the guts of the thing and he stretches his head out like Inspector Gadget.
And also
another funny bit with plugging up the holes in the dam.
holes?
Yes.
But it's instead circuits.
I'll say all this comedy I'm totally into.
Okay. And then so the bombers come in. You got this big bomber run, lots of dogfighting. It's the first space battle we've had in these sequel movies. It's
But this
great.
is when we have, what's her name? Rose's sister.
Rose's sister, whose name is
Tico?
Paige.
Paige Tico.
Tico is their last name.
Yes.
Played by Veronica Ngo,
Okay.
I think.
An excellent, nearly silent performance.
Yeah, it's so good. I think that's great.
It's really good.
People in our audience were groaning, but it is sort of wrenching, I guess.
I
And
think it
her
was more
dropping
that.
her sort of.
But I love that whole sequence.
Me
Feels
too.
like the
So
fucking
hard.
like the baby carriage in Battleship Potemkin or
Yes.
something. She has to activate these bombs to take out the dreadnought, which is Poe's big fucking all or nothing.
Yeah,
all
he's like,
in
we got to
move.
do it. We got to take this thing out.
And Leia's like, come on, fucking cool.
Leia's thing is
risk is too
we
high.
did what we were supposed to do, which is stall for time so that we could all flee.
And there's a great bit of really just effective, simple visual storytelling because I think Rian Johnson's best at just sort of just economic, concise, fucking punchy, information told visually. But when Leia looks down at the monitor and sees all the ships with the X's over them, and it looks like a battleship board,
I love that he just holds on to that tech,
Yeah.
from the original movies. The sort of
Yes.
look of it, the
Yeah, it's
wire
perfect.
frames.
Yeah.
And
And Carrie Fisher was an actor of enormous empathy, and you just see the pain of every one of those people mattered. These are not just ships that went down.
I agree. It's so good.
But meanwhile, Paige is in there trying to set off these bombs, and she has all sorts of hijinks with the remote control, which slips out of her hands. And you get this moment where she kind of makes this decision, wordlessly,
Right.
beautifully acted, that she is going to sacrifice herself.
Right.
She's
She
laying
will.
on this sort
This
of
is it.
catwalk.
Right.
All she can do at this moment is
Kick.
choose to use her remaining energy to kick to get
Right.
the remote
Right.
to set off the bombs. So she does, and she dies a hero.
Yes.
And
We see she has this piece of jewelry, this sort of medallion
Half
thingy.
of a friendship
Right, exactly. that she's
charm
holding
necklace.
onto.
Yes.
this is the first time we saw the inside of that ship, too. It's huge rows and stacks of bombs.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. A victory. But Poe Dameron's coming in all fucking
Dameron,
cocky.
there's this great shot of his X-Wing flying into the transport, and stopping and landing really fast. And he's just dreadnought down. We did it.
Right. And Leia's fucking...
No, she slaps him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're demoted.
Cool your jets. Come
people
on.
are dead. You
Right.
took out a dreadnought. Who
It's
cares?
not time to celebrate. Yeah.
Also, we see Hux get face planted by a giant General Snoke head.
Yeah.
That's his punishment.
Yeah, he dunks on him pretty hard.
He does dunk on him pretty hard.
And let's say this, right off the bat.
Snoke is great in just head form, I love it when his head pops up and he's like, General!
Yes.
Yes.
Snoke also looks so much better in this movie.
He does. They probably had more time because his in Force Awakens, they kept changing what he looked like, right? He was his design was
I also
up for
think
debate.
I think if you did a side-by-side comparison, they've changed the design a bit. Aside from the
That's
fact that they
probably
clearly
true.
plus the technology and just spent more time on it and the performance feels better, the character has
Right,
more
and
to
obviously
do.
he's now not a hologram, I guess, so you have a little more light on his face.
But even when we get to the hologram thing, I remember seeing Force Awakens and going why'd they need to fucking mocap this guy? This could just be a dude in makeup.
Yeah, right.
And this time they really fuck with the proportions of his skull and the scarring and the damage. So it really is.
Yeah, because he's real skinny,
Yes.
and then his head's kind of bulbous.
Right.
His cheeks barely exist.
Right.
Yeah, he's weird looking.
Right. But
you dug Snoke.
I was all about Snoke in this movie. Snoke maybe was my standout for the film.
Could have been bigger.
He could have been bigger.
He was big.
They made him minute bull size instead of Godzilla
Yeah, right.
size.
He's maybe 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's 8'2". Yeah.
Yeah.
Good reach.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good wingspan. Yeah.
Okay, so Leia puts Poe in his place.
demotes him and
kid,
says,
you're not the fucking movie star here. It's about people.
And it's
about a cause.
This is not a one-off thing in the movie that is not going to get. This is Poe's arc in the movie.
Yes.
Is like, yeah, you're the best. I mean, yeah, you're great. Good at piloting.
Yeah.
But like, that's not going to win this war.
That's also
like,
the arc of the movie
itself.
is what does it mean to be heroic? What is the heroic thing to do? You know?
I'm nodding very forcefully. I'm sort of moving my whole body.
You know what this is? This is a fucking anti-virtue signaling movie. Get off
no
your
wonder people
fat
hate it.
ass and do the work. And don't look like you need a fucking applause break when you do it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
you know?
she's thrilled.
I'm sounding facetious when I say that, but that is kind of what the movie is. It's a movie.
No,
it's called action movie.
Yeah.
It's about doing the right thing.
Right.
For the right reasons.
Yes. And then to wrap this little bit up before we get to go to the island.
Sure.
We also have this scene where Kylo Ren, with his helmet on, goes to see Snoke. Ren, right as Hux is leaving, and Snoke berates him.
Yeah.
Says, you suck.
Yeah, fuck you.
I thought you were a big deal. This is where a lot of his...
Your dick is tiny.
The Lair.
Okay, so this is, I mean, for one, this is an incredibly good-looking movie.
Correct.
It's gorgeously designed.
Yeah.
It's really well shot by Steve Yedlin.
Very well lit.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Part of a job of a cinematographer, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying specifically, I want to single out.
The lighting is lit.
And Rian Johnson has said, we went into this with red being, like, we wanted red to be this sort of very crucial color in the movie. And this throne room, which is just blank red, pure red.
Right, but like lit red walls, like red lucite walls that are glowing.
And then what I love, which is like Snoke was basically like, yeah, red, this is all red. You guys are going to wear red.
I love gold!
And then can I have a gold cape?
Yeah.
Though?
Yeah, and
he caftan. He borrowed Meryl Streep's caftan from the Post.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
He asked people if they want a blintz and a blunt.
Yeah, he looks like a Christmas tree fairy.
He gets in a smelting accident.
He's got this amazing... We're doing two different bits.
I know.
But they're both good.
I was trying to get you onto my bit.
No, I liked your bit.
Join me here. My bit. Bit. Wait, and there's one other thing that happens. Our good old friend Finn wakes up.
Yes, and of course wants to know where Rey is.
Right, and he's in a tube suit that looks awesome.
It does, I love that.
He's leaking all over the place. He's a little discombobulated. Poe's happy to see him. I like that they're still nice space friends. They're, of course, not the nice space friends, and of course they're not the two friends, but they are nice friends in space.
Yeah, agreed on everything you just said. But yes, we do have that. There's nothing really else to that. We'll get to more of that, obviously.
Yeah, Rose comes in later, right? Okay, so now we go to...
But it's just important. We see Ben being berated for his failure against Rey.
Yeah.
And like, if you're such a big deal, why'd you get beaten by a girl who'd never held a lightsaber before?
Snoke is kind of verbalizing the criticisms of people who think that Rey's too powerful in Force Awakens.
And Ben is like, Kylo is saying like, I killed Han Solo, and he's like, yeah, and it fucked you up so bad, Rey beat you.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a thing that's important to get on record, because obviously he got shot too.
Yes.
And that's sort of a visual reason for his ineptitude, you know? But like, it's also that he's completely rattled by killing his father.
100%.
In Force Awakens.
Because that's Snoke's thing is like, you got too much of that Solo shit in you. And he's like, Solo shit? I fucking killed Han Solo. And he's like, don't act like that was a fucking easy thing.
Yes, exactly.
Don't act like he came out of
Get out of my sight and take that ridiculous thing off, which he's talking about the mask.
Right.
So Kylo smashes it.
Crushes it.
Which apparently is something that Rian Johnson asked Kathleen Kennedy in his initial pitch for the film.
Can I get rid of the mask?
Yes. He was like, essentially the way this pitch worked, she brought him in and sat him down and said, we want you to do episode 8. What do you think? Yeah. And he was like, I don't know. Let me think about it.
He claims he did not think that's what they were going to...
Right. Maybe a spin-off. They were, I don't know. And then he said, well, can I read the Force Awakens script? And they were like, sure, here's the script. And he said, okay, well, there's a bunch of things I'm going to want to do. Here they all are. And one of them was, I need to smash his helmet really early on. And they were like, fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Which also makes sense for the arc of this character, which I think is the most interesting arc of the film, and I think is the best performance of the movie.
It is. Driver
is
unbelievable.
Unbelievably good.
It's an extremely good performance.
I rember when...
And he's great in the last
that fucking... What's it called? That Sitting Shiva movie with zero Jews in it. This is Where I Leave You,
yeah.
When that was like Adam Driver starting to take off, and Sean Levy, the great auteur, Sean Levy, the maestro himself, If Trevorrow's the captain, then he's at least the lieutenant.
Come on. What's up?
He said, like, I was on set with Driver, and I went like, whoa, this is the major actor of his generation. I was like, fucking Sean Levy, you don't know anything. Who would be a major actor of his generation? And it does kind of feel like Adam Driver is like shaping up to maybe be, especially when you look at the fucking directors he's worked with.
Yes, he's great. I have no objection. I love Adam Driver. He was my Blanky winner for Best Actor last year.
I know. He might. I mean, let's see where he sells into my blankies this year.
That's me looking at my watch for the blankies.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in a while.
Look, we'll get to it. Look, this episode's steaming ahead, full speed ahead. Ding dong, ding dong. Oh, wait a second. Okay, look, I know we got great momentum going. I just need to step out of the bathroom quickly, and I'll let this person in.
Okay, the doorbell made you realize that you need to step out to the bathroom so another person can come in. Okay, well, as you get up to go to the bathroom, let someone in, please.
That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Ding dong, ding dong. Yeah, I know, I'm coming. Hello.
Hello, sir. What are you doing here?
Perhaps you do not recognize me.
We're in the middle of a podcast.
Perhaps you previously knew of my mustache. Okay, do not recognize me with the whiskers on my chin, the sides of my face, my cheeks. We have never met before.
You are a clean-shaven man.
Well, no, I mean...
Oh, you're saying you have a mustache?
Well, no, I mean, clearly you've said I'm clean-shaven, so that must be accepted as canon now.
No, I'm sorry. I was looking at my computer and I wasn't looking up.
No, I'm running with it. I'm clean-shaven now.
Okay, great. Who are you?
You never met me before.
Who are you?
My name is Rich Uncle Pennybags. We've never met before.
Oh, so I know Rich Mr. Pennybags. What was his name again? We only met him the one time.
Moneybags Pennybags is the nickname. Look, I have to level with you, okay?
Yeah, sure, Rich Uncle Pennybags. Yeah.
I know you didn't add with a Rich Uncle Pennybags previously.
Oh, okay.
But that's not canon anymore. Unfortunately, we found out that Rich Uncle Pennybags was part of a giant Ponzi scheme.
Okay, can you just send the money back right away, Ben?
Dollar Shave Club, here's your money.
So I am actor Christopher Plummer, and I have now replaced Rich Uncle Pennybags. So if we can accept this as just a new continuity, we're going to get it out in time for Christmas.
You do have the gravitas required and no makeup on your face.
But how did you get your face so clean shaven?
Well... You don't become a rich Uncle Pennybags by spending $1 billion on every razor. You fools, I look at you, common lay people. How much do you spend? $2,000, $4,000 a blade?
Well, how
much do you spend?
Can I talk to you for a second?
Please.
Because I used to. That used to be my life.
Right.
But then I found Dollar Shave Club, and for $5 a month, they send me a whole package.
What?
Razors. Replacement razors.
Okay.
Shave butter.
Okay.
For the shaving.
Yes.
Body cleanser.
Yeah. All of this is encouraging, but here's the problem.
Go ahead.
I got a stinky butt.
Butt wipes.
What?
They're in the package too. And if for $5 you can get this package.
Yes.
And after that, replacement cartridges, they ship for a few bucks a month. So you can keep shaving. Because, I used to just shave once.
A decade,
and then
by the looks of you.
Be in a panic. Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, thank you. But instead now, with Dr. Carver's shave butter, with the butt wipes, with the body cleanser.
Doctor himself.
Yeah. And I'm looking great.
It's all delivered right to you.
Yeah, of course.
That means no more annoying trips to the store or cruising up and down aisles looking at the shelf upon shelf like, what the hell is this product? What do I do with that? It's all figured out for you.
Man, you seem really freaked out about shelves.
I get so lost in these stores.
They just hold things. I mean,
it's like the end of...
the Hurt Locker.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a long-time blankie. Let me ask you this question.
Thank you, Mr. Plumber. You just turned 88, by the way. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But
Fit as a fiddle.
What I'm saying is you don't need all the money in the world to do...
I see what you did there, and
Dollar
I liked it
Shave
a lot.
Club.
Okay,
you just need a few bucks a month.
Let me ask you 2 follow-up questions.
Yeah, please.
Dollar Shave Club. That sounds like a great company, great products at an affordable price, great customer service.
All true, and it comes right to your door.
Can they help negotiate the release of my kidnapped grandson?
I think that's going to be a premium edition. You're going to have to talk about that with someone at the company because I don't know about that.
No, that's a joke, of course. I broke character for a bit because...
Right, because you're playing J. Paul Getty in an upcoming movie.
Right, but that's not
I
this.
guess we're plugging.
Yes, this is a different disgraced character that I've had to be replaced in the role of.
Rich Uncle Pennybags, of course. Yeah, so it's nice to see you.
Here's my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Dollar Shave Club.
Uh-huh.
Let's say I want to get a Golden Globe nomination really quick.
Let's say we wanted to wrap this up really quick.
Yep.
Well, go on.
But the movie wasn't finished, and there was no way the Hollywood Foreign Press will have seen the film in time to nominate.
Oh, my God.
Do you think I could order enough razors to send to every member of the Hollywood Foreign Press in order to bribe them into nominating me?
I have no idea. I want you to love Dollar Shave Club as much as I do. That's what's important. So if you want to try the first month of their razors,
Or our listeners.
you or our listeners, with, and then you get the shave butter, you get the body cleanser, you get the butt wipes, all that for $5. Then you just go to dollarshaveclub.com/check.
/check. Is there a promo code?
That's the promo code to get the starter set, $5 a month. Tell me the URL.
Blankcheck.com.
No. dollarshaveclub.com.
Google.org.
Jesus.
dollarshaveclub.com/check. Okay.
Check.
And just once again, to very briefly make sure we're all clear on the canon. I am totally clean shaven. I'm Academy Award winner Christopher Plummer. The timeline is roughly before the Golden Globe nominations have been announced.
Yeah.
And the real rich Uncle Pennybags, which is his nickname, Moneybags is his real name, was involved in a Ponzi scheme.
All true. Thanks so much.
Anytime.
And
Go see All the Money in the World Christmas Day.
Oh, and hey, Griffin, how you doing?
Oh, hey. Good. I just had a big poop. I wish there was some way for me to wipe my butt.
Dollar Shave Club. Anyway, so we're
cool.
going to talk about...
No more needs to be said.
We're going to talk about Ahch-To,
Ahch-To, the island of Ahch-To.
which we've glimpsed in Force
end.
Awakens.
And
Force Awakens ends with a helicopter shot, like we all asked, of Rey holding up a lightsaber for Luke Skywalker.
My least favorite shot in The Force Awakens.
It's a little annoying.
I don't like helicopter shots.
It doesn't bother me quite as much on rewatches because I guess it's just sort of ingrained now.
Sure. I get it. I'm a drone guy too.
But no, yeah, it's, in the end of the last movie, Rey goes to Luke.
And we pick up in that
offers
gesture.
him his blade.
Holding out the blade.
He takes it.
And then he chucks it over his shoulder.
I love that so much.
I was
immediately like, oh wait, I didn't see that coming at all.
And then what's the next thing that happens? Luke goes into his little hut and he changes out of his regal white robes into some grungy bullshit.
And
pile of rags. He looks like the Fisher King.
And then as Rey, he looks like the Fisher King.
He does.
As Rey retrieves the lightsaber from some porgs, who are in this movie.
Yes,
the porgs.
They are in the film. We can confirm that.
Yes,
because there was
debate over whether they'd show up,
whether they'd be in the movie or not.
They're like anime penguins.
Yeah. They're based on the puffins that really live on that island.
Okay.
And they are like penguin chickens.
Where do you land in the Porg Wars, the Great Porg Wars of 2017?
I'm pro Porg. Yeah. Very solidly pro Porg. I like that they're puppets. Like makes me really happy.
I also feel like they're really used in moderation. This movie.
No, for sure. It's not like they, save the day.
No.
They're just like these sort of funny little creatures that live on this island, which is a weird island.
Yeah.
Another creature that lives on this island is a giant milk producing how do you describe it? Like manatee giraffe.
Yeah.
What is it?
Right. And we see Mark Hamill. Milk it. Squeeze that nipple.
The nipple straight into the bottle and then drink the green milk that comes out.
Blue milk.
Whatever.
That's where it comes from. It's important. That's canon.
With glee and then look at Rey like a crazy person.
Yes.
And then immediately walk over somewhere else and get a giant pole and go over to a cliffside and catch an ichthyosaur.
Yeah, he's just being a real stinker.
And basically doesn't talk to her at all.
And he's kind of being a Yoda. Like he's being like, fuck off.
Well, that's what the
he's
movie.
He's being a little trickster.
That's the move he's made.
Yeah.
Because Yoda abandons the universe after his great failure. Right. In which he caused the entire universe to be taken over by a Sith Lord pretty much unilaterally. Great job, Yoda. Which
is amazing. One of the most impressive things this film does is it actually makes the Phantom Menace trilogy better by acknowledging that the fucking Jedi Council were too busy up in their ivory tower to pay attention to what was going on. They actually allowed everything to happen.
It brings that up.
A bunch of stodgy old fools on their fucking poop chairs.
True.
Not even a Dollar Shave Club butt wipe to be seen.
True.
And they let it happen. They caused their own demise. So Luke's kind of like, you know what? I don't know if the Jedi's were a good thing even. We shouldn't be mourning them.
Okay.
Move on.
But as I was saying,
Yeah.
he has done the Yoda, where he's like,
Yeah.
Yoda went to Dagobah to never see anyone again.
Yeah.
Luke has gone to this planet to die.
Let me drink my milk.
Yeah, he wants to drink his milkshake.
But Rey will not stop.
Rey keeps pestering him with like, I'm from the Resistance. Your sister sent me, and like the First Order is close to taking over the galaxy, and we need your help. Which is sort of silly because it's like, what's Luke gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the crawl is
Hurt
saying that he'll sort of rally people to the cause, and I get that because he is the famed slayer of the Emperor and
Sure.
turner of Darth Vader.
Right. And you could argue that the Resistance needs such a figure right now.
Right. He is someone to sort of light a spark, as
Right.
people keep saying.
Because Kylo Ren is a larger-than-life figure. He
True.
is so performative, but he leaves people quaking in fear and terror.
As is Snoke. Snoke's pretty performative. Remember
Kylo-
we talked about
yeah.
his gold cloak?
Yes, Kylo Ren's just a little more out there. He's doing like the meet and greets. He's like,
No, Snoke has a drive time radio show every
is
day.
true.
General! That's how it begins. I don't know. What does he say?
it's called Snoke and the Boomer.
Oh, God.
But they need someone to inspire hope.
But that's not really why she's there.
No,
She's there because she's a little Jedi.
she's a little Jedi.
Lightsaber
a little bit teaching.
She needs some tips.
When does he realize that she has the Force?
Well, so he keeps ignoring her, and she
Yeah.
sort of gets huffy, and then she walks over. She sort of feels called by something, and walks over to this big tree.
Yes.
And walks into it, this big sort of smoky, weird, gnarled sort of tree.
It's called like of the Wills or something.
Oh, is it? Well, I mean,
it has a name in the fucking Star Wars canon. I'm forgetting.
well, because the Wills
Yes.
are the Guardians of the Wills.
Right.
That's like what
I think it's called the something of the Wills.
Donnie Yen's character
Yes.
is a Guardian of the Will, and they are like a order of monks who preserve Jedi shit. So
Right.
anyway, but she walks into this tree, and it's like there's some books on a shelf.
Yeah.
And Luke is intrigued that she knows of like to go to this place.
And that she says, like, I've been having these dreams all my life. I've seen these symbols. I never knew what they meant. It's starting to become clear to me.
So that's where Luke is going like, wait a second, who are you?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm from the Resistance. Like, no. Who are you?
Yeah. I'm from nowhere. Everyone's from somewhere. Jakku. Okay, that is kind of nowhere. Once again, good joke.
Yeah. It's great. You seem to be saying this with surprise.
Because there are a couple comedy points I'm going to deduct later on in this movie.
When?
There are a couple times I think it goes a little
When?
too broad.
Wait, just give it to me.
I don't like BB-8 operating the walker.
Oh, sure. That's not so much a comedy thing to me, but okay.
I don't like Luke dusting the dirt off his shoulder.
Oh, I love that.
I think that's a little too self-aware.
I love that because the whole point is that he's trying to enrage Kylo Ren so much.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just think he plays it to the back of the house a little too much.
He just does this.
I
That's all he does.
I think he plays it to the back of the house.
No, the whole point of that is that's a story that will be told for millennia.
You can't spell Hamill without ham. And he wades through the waters well, but there are a couple moments where I think they indulge him a little too much.
No, this is a Christmas ham. It's
I agree.
Gorgeous and juicy. I sink my teeth
But there's
into
a little
it.
fat. Sometimes you take a bite and there's a little fat.
The
You gotta,
BB-8
you gotta
thing,
spit
I'm
out
kind
the
of
fat.
with you on, but I think that's more them being like, BB-8 should do something now. You
Yeah,
know?
I think that
It's
BB-8
fine.
moment can go fuck itself. That's the one moment in the movie where I was like, this can go fuck itself.
Eh.
I don't want BB-8 like operating a fucking walker.
But they set it up earlier.
yeah.
So it sounds like you're really embarrassed right now.
No, not at all. I'm very confident. I'm a confident person. I've never been embarrassed in my entire life. Ben, you look like you're shaping to say we're all in weird headspaces today, are we not?
I'm feeling great.
I feel great. Yeah.
I disagree with
I
that.
think Griffin's in a weird headspace.
You admitted yourself you were really stressed out today.
Oh, I have a lot of work to do and shit.
Yeah.
That's true. But that's not that uncommon
I'm
for me.
cold and I haven't showered in 48 hours
you're,
because the water's
you're in a bit of an
fucking
honest.
out in my
When did you
apartment.
wake up?
When did I wake up?
Because you said you had a lot of trouble sleeping.
Yeah, I didn't fall asleep until 6 a.m.
Great.
I think I woke up 10 or 11.
Not great.
No, not great, Bob. And then I didn't get out of bed for like 2 hours because it was so cold in my apartment that I didn't want to get out of my tamale.
You were keeping the hot box.
I was bundled. I was hotbox. Yeah, I was farting to keep myself warm.
Well, apparently I slept for 5 hours and 46 minutes.
All right,
according to my
do you want to
Fitbit.
start over?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Okay.
Opens on
Great joke.
I liked it.
Oh, you're gonna call me out for dumb derailing jokes?
Look at us.
Yeah, right. We're all in a great mood today.
Ah!
You guys are so mad.
Just get ready for the merchandise spotlight. Okay, so Luke is like, fuck this, you know? Jedi shouldn't be a thing. They were foolish.
He's
they were
interested
arrogant.
in her, and she's like, I want to, and he's like, it's time for the Jedi to end.
Yeah, done. Out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have the Force? Fine. Have fun. Jedi, dead concept.
Yes, that's his call.
Right.
I guess.
So what happens next?
But it's really more also, as we know, he failed Ben Solo.
Right.
He lost his Jedi school.
Yeah.
All these kids got murdered.
And this time it was
a very
personal.
emotionally taxing incident, obviously.
Ben was a sort of once in a generation, amount. Ben Hosley. Kylo Ren, who is kind of the Ben Hosley of Sith Lords in terms of like powers.
He's not a Sith Lord. Okay. It's crucial to note there are no Sith.
Yeah, he's a Knight of Ren. He's a Knight of Ren. I'm sorry.
Right. He's a dark Jedi.
Dark Force
whatever.
user. Whatever you want to fucking call it.
Yeah.
But obviously it's his nephew.
Yeah.
It's the bloodline that he's connected to.
Yeah.
He understands that balance between the Skywalker and the Vader of it all.
That, and also he failed his sister.
Yes.
He failed his good buddy Han.
Yes.
And kind of failed the galaxy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Legacy of failure there.
Right. And he's looking back on the whole legacy of the people who trained him and going like, Yoda might have fucked this whole thing up to begin with. So why should I be carrying on the traditions of this order that maybe is inherently fucked?
So from this, we're going to cut back to the fleet.
Sure.
Where Kylo Ren, enraged because he just got called a beta male by Snoke.
Yeah.
He waved his finger at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. His big, long, little spindly fingers.
Yeah, he kind of got cooked.
Gets in his
Hashtag
pretty cool little
Kylo
fighter
got
craft. What do you think of his fighter craft? Sort of TIE interceptor type.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Spinny. It
cool.
spins.
Good.
Attacks the rebel fleet because they're tracking them through hyperspace, which shouldn't be possible.
Right.
But apparently in Rogue One, did you read this?
No.
There's some little thing in Rogue One where, like, you know how they like hack the Empire files in Rogue One and all that? One of the files says like hyperspace tracking technology.
Oh, cool.
So they...
it only took another 80 years to perfect?
20.
Oh, sure.
And like, it's hard.
Sure.
And also the Empire got blown up.
Sure.
Yeah,
they had to start over.
Right, give it a second.
Right, they had to download like McAfee to do file recovery on those hard drives, which are burned up in the
all true
explosion. Ben and David are both typing things now. I think David's filing a piece.
Yeah, I'm not, but I should be. But no,
Ben is writing copy for other podcasts.
No, I just wrote virus joke cut out.
Oh, cool.
I watch him make all these little notes. It's really funny.
It was a file recovery joke.
No, okay, so
now you look like
he
the
attacks
idiot.
the fleet. Attacks the fleet.
Yes.
I don't know if there's something else you want to say here.
No.
And, well, because you seem to have something to say about the hyperspace tracking. Or was it just a McAfee joke?
Yeah, I think it was probably just...
All right, fine. Attacks the fleet, blows up the main ship's bridge.
Attacks the fleet. Who are you? A Quentin Tarantino movie?
Blows up the main ship's bridge. Leia gets sucked out into space. What did you think of this? Did you think, is this the end? Or were you like, this can't be it because hasn't been given enough weight? Like, because that's what I thought when the second I saw her get like blown into space.
What I thought. And I will say this. I might have fallen for it more had Carrie Fisher not died in real life. Because
then you're like, oh no, we kind of knew they weren't killing her off because they had said over and over again, like, Leia's performance is going to stand as it is. I mean, fit Carrie's performance, and like, we're not messing with it at all. We're not replacing anything.
And I also think if that was the decision to have her die that early on in the film, they would have edited and structured that sequence differently to give it more import if it truly was going to be her final moment.
So she gets, but you know who does die?
Admiral
Akbar.
The biggest trap of all.
Esther went like, like she was very shocked. Yeah, it is. It was a trap.
It was a trap.
Yeah.
It was a trap. And he got...
I was trying to figure out why they killed him off.
Why?
But did maybe the actor die?
The actor did die.
Did he?
I believe.
So maybe they were just kind of
like...
the
guy who voiced Akbar was like 99
he was very
years
old.
Yes.
Like, who's like the voice of Akbar?
I think it was Marlon Brando, right?
Ernest Borgnine. Oh, wow.
Douglas Fairbanks?
Some other, the original guy who voiced him died.
Okay.
In 2016.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was just sort of like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's let Akbar have a noble death.
And this movie also it's a real...
Not that noble, really. Just get sucked into space.
It's not with the old and with the new movie.
It is. It is very much like,
this
you know
movie's
what?
about, we can't just keep on relying on the old institution.
It's true. And, you know, the Resistance is so centered around Leia as this icon of the Rebel Alliance that first gave birth to the Republic. And it's like, you know, it's a crucial moment at the end of the movie when Poe's like leading people down, where Leia's like, don't look at me. Like, follow him. Like, you know, where it's like, she knows too. Like, I can't do this forever.
Dave Schilling at Birth Movies Death
Sure.
Had a review. This one I think is really good, where he said he thinks this film, and this lines up very well in terms of the time periods in which these trilogies are being made.
Sure.
But this film is really about millennials inheriting and reckoning with the legacy of the baby boomers.
Sure. I can see that.
You know, it's like one political movement a generation or two later dealing with the very self-righteous, empowered, we fixed everything.
Sure, I get that. I get that read.
And being like, nothing was fixed. We're now inheriting twice as many problems because of what you tried to do.
Sure. And
it's like our parents told us we could be anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, send us off to college.
Get a participation trophy.
We're like 20 minutes into the movie, and we've been talking for an hour plus.
This is going to be a 4-hour episode. I cleared off the whole day of the studio schedule.
God, I have a Hanukkah dinner to get to.
What if at this point right now, when you're saying we've already been recording for an hour plus, Ben has edited the episode down so much that we're at minute 12?
I mean, that's what he should do.
He could do
that. That would be prudent.
He could cut this shit down.
No. So I just, the big thing that happens here is that Leia is floating in space. She's getting a little freezy.
Yeah.
And she sucks herself back with force powers.
She flies like Superman.
What do you think of this scene? Because it is hotly divisive.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I like that she survives. I like that she uses the force to survive.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sure how crazy I am about the execution of the moment itself visually.
All right. Well, I disagree with you.
Cool.
I mean,
Good argument.
I just watched it and was immediately like spellbound by it. And then as I was walking, and I was so happy that she finally got a force moment that extended beyond her just sort of looking pained or whatever, you know, like, which is what she's done in the other movies.
I'll say I was 100% with it and was like pumping my fists until she starts the actual floating, like the flying back onto the ship. It felt a little too godlike to me, if that makes sense.
But she's just sucking herself. You know, it's just moving.
But you're doing the hand gesture. Like, that was part of it, was like the whole hand gestures.
It's Carrie Fisher. She's a fucking
I love Carrie
dead
Fisher.
legend.
If they teed it up a little bit more with a force slap when she slaps Poe, just with
she
their
slapped
minds.
him across the room or something.
Yeah. Then I would have been a little bit more like, okay.
Or even if they played like the electric slide while she's like force sliding back onto the ship. That would have worked. Like, that would be more subtle to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
I totally know what you're saying.
And Ben agrees with it. A little more subtle.
Ben agrees. He's sort of going,
He's
I'm going
pointing.
to take a picture of you, Ben. So do that.
So Leia's back on the ship now. She's survived, but greatly damaged. It took a lot out of her.
She's unconscious, so she's going to go into the sort of the Finn chamber, the revival chamber.
And let's say this. Right. I don't want to be morbid, okay? But like...
This is something they wrote before she died, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
This was part of the plot.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've read a lot of people say that they thought she should have died at that moment. That would have been a great hero death. I think that is only people saying that from the vantage point of knowing that the actor is dead.
Yeah, also, why would that be a great hero death? She just gets blown out of the
I agree.
ship?
100%.
I mean, whatever.
I think it's because then Holdo kind of enters and feels like she's going to be the new Leia, which she isn't.
No.
But the thing I was going to say is that's people wanting the movie to be able to have a internal way to deal with Carrie Fisher's death.
Oh, I think the movie does, though.
Yeah, by thematics. But it keeps her alive at the end of the film, but it makes it clear the universe isn't about her anymore.
Right, but it would be so hacky to me if she died on screen, because it would just feel like what we're saying, where they were like, oh, I guess we should kill her off because she died, you know.
Right, and Furious 7 is a very different case where, like, he died halfway through the movie. They had to rewrite the movie to work around that.
I'm not thrilled that you just brought up Furious 7.
I'm thrilled that I just brought up
Furious 7 deals with it very well in its own way, but if The The Last Jedi had tried any of the shit they try, you know, digital recreation, it would have gone over like a
I agree
brick.
100%.
Yeah.
And also, I think the ending of Furious 7 is a masterwork, but if Paul Walker had finished all the principal photography, I don't think they should have done any of that. That was literally, they only had half the footage they needed, so they had to rewrite the movie.
We agree. Let's not talk about
I agree.
this.
I'm responding
Furious
to
7.
fan criticism. Furious 7's a perfect movie.
Fan criticism seems to just be like, I don't like it, it's goofy, those are her force powers. You know, it seemed a lot of like,
It's also
that's not how things have gone before, right? You
It's
know?
also weird simultaneously. Like, I don't like how much the movie's goofy, and I don't like how much the movie's cynical. Like, I think they
it's
don't
true.
like
There's
the
both of
fact
those criticisms.
that Luke isn't.
They don't like
pure
Luke tossing the lightsaber over his shoulder.
But they also don't like him saying that the Jedi Order was fucked.
Sure, but at least they knew that was coming.
Yeah,
That's in the trailers.
that's in the trailer.
It's just pretty funny to me that The Force Awakens ended on Luke being offered the saber, and then 2 whole years later, we finally see his reaction to it, which is like,
I think that's a good joke.
blech.
I think it's a good joke.
How many comedy points?
I gave it 10. I gave it 10.
I think 15.
Fine.
So Finn,
But you have to put up 5 of your own. I'm only putting 10.
fine. So here's the new
Okay.
situation. The fleet is here. Yeah, I'm putting up 5 of my own. Okay,
Yeah,
the fleet is here.
Leia's out now. She used
Leia's
up all her
out,
energy. She's
but
in
more
a
importantly,
healing tank.
they can't jump to hyperspace because they seem to be being tracked to hyperspace. So they have to just keep outrunning the Star Destroyers
Yes.
and like sort of stay in this sort of static, you know what I mean? Like fixed
But essentially,
chase.
the First Order is playing rope-a-dope with them. It knows if they keep on trying to race past them through hyperspace, they'll run out of
Right.
fucking energy, and then they'll just be stuck. They'll be cornered. And that's when Muhammad Ali fucking takes them down, right?
Yeah.
So now 2 big things happen. One, hey, Leia's on bed rest for a little bit.
Sure.
Here's the new boss in town. Her name is
Holdo.
Space Stern.
Yes, that's her name. Space Stern.
She fucking rules.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy Emma Stefanski.
Amelin Holdo. Yes.
Our buddy Emma Stefanski. I believe it was.
The great Emma Stefanski.
I hope I'm not misattributing this to her, but I think it was her. When I Love Dick came out, said it's weird that Kevin Bacon's become the sexiest guy alive. Because he was never the sexiest guy alive. There were other people sexier than him, and then he just stayed in it, and now he is the sexiest guy alive.
Okay.
And I kind of feel the same way about Laura Dern.
Dern, just like persistence,
Yeah.
longevity, legacy.
Yeah. She comes on screen, I'm just like, Jesus
Got
Christ.
purple hair.
Yeah.
Got this sort of
Giraffe neck.
yeah.
She's got a good 6 inches on fucking Oscar
She's
Isaac.
tall. I mean, Oscar Isaac is not tall.
Oscar Isaac's not tall. She's especially tall, and she just fucking rules.
Laura Dern's 5'10",
Yeah.
pretty tall.
Yeah.
But she's probably got heel on.
It's certainly big for an actress. Definitely has heels on, has a lot of hair, and she's just got a quiet, gentle authority, and she's also got fucking pink hair, and Space Stern rules.
So yeah, but so Poe is like, "What's the plan here? Are we going to go blow things up? What's the plan?" Because his X-wing gets blown up in the attack.
Right.
So what are we going to? And she's sort of like, "Here's the plan." Shh.
Because she
Quiet,
was like Leia's
quiet, zip
protege,
it.
and she's like, look, I learned from Leia. We all know Leia. I'm not going to fucking do shit Leia style. I'm not tolerating your bullshit, Poe Dameron. You want to have fun adventures? Do it in a spin-off comic that only Griffin will read. This is a main entry Star Wars movie.
See
You play
that
by
chair?
my rules.
We call that the Poe chair. You sit in it. So you'll sit there, and if I need something from you, such as an order of macaroni and cheese,
Yeah.
I will let you know.
You're getting a provisional 12-issue run, and after that, we will negotiate.
So that's what's happening. But Finn, seeing all this,
I got to get
Finn,
the fuck out of here.
who, remember, is essentially 3 weeks old
Yes.
as a person.
Yes.
He had his little adventure,
Yes.
which was the first time he's basically been a conscious human being.
His love is real, but he is not.
And then he was in coma. You know,
Yeah.
he was in. So he's still brand new. He's looking at all this. Rey's not with him.
Right.
There's this little beacon that she can find.
And now he's sort of been grandfathered into being seen as like an important
They're all like,
figure.
"You're a hero. You're the traitor from the First Order who like helped us blow up Starkiller Base. What a great
He's
guy
like,
you
I'm
are."
kind of a savant. I don't know if I can replicate it. My sophomore slump is going to be hard.
So but also he's like, "Fuck, Rey can't come back to this because this is doomed.
Yeah.
This whole thing looks bad." He goes to his escape pod to leave. Who does he meet?
Rose Tico.
Played by.
Kelly Marie Tran, who is a UCB alum, a West Coast UCBer.
I had no idea.
That was her main base. I mean, she had pretty much just done sketch videos, web series, and was a UCB performer.
She's never been in a movie, right?
Correct. So her and I are exactly the same, much like Gal Gadot and I are exactly the same because we're both Jewish superheroes.
Right.
Kelly Marie Tran and I are exactly the same because we're both UCB people
Right.
who then became a part of the most important franchise of all time. The
Right,
two
and
most
also,
important franchises ever.
your parents
the
are
Tick and Star
also-
Wars.
Your parents are refugees who fled Vietnam during the Vietnam War, right? Or is that
Well,
the one difference between you
right,
two?
and I'm saying that's maybe more where I go into the Gal Gadot thing, where we're both like highly trained militant Jews.
But yes, she is. You're right. UCB.
Thank you.
She also did some Second City stuff.
Yeah, she was like an IO. She did all the LA Improv Theaters. There's a really good Entertain Weekly piece on her, just like temping and working night jobs and taking classes and wondering whether she should quit or not, and then getting Star Wars and not being able to tell anyone for like 4 months.
Right. I love her in this movie. I love this character. And how do you feel about it? He's doing the Griffin face again.
Introduction of this character, 100% on board. I find her very winning, very just honest and open as a performer, especially for someone who has not been in a movie before.
Right.
She feels completely unintimidated by her surroundings.
Sure. Yeah.
It just feels like a very, very joyful, honest, open performance.
Okay.
I think the setup of the character is awesome.
Her sister died. Obviously, she's very sad,
and she's working in the trenches. She's part of this big thing, but
works
she's
behind pipes all day.
Right. She's essentially working in like the mailroom of the resistance.
She's like an engineer or something. She's some kind of
And she views Finn as a celebrity. This is the hero. This is the guy. This is the inspirational story. He worked his way up from the bad side to the upper ranks. He gives me hope that maybe I could make it happen someday, which makes Finn reevaluate his whole position because he just still thinks that he's some fucking noob. But he realizes now that he has some weight and power.
But what's your criticism of this character?
I think this character is missing like one emotional beat, and I can't figure out what it is. There's like some emotional beat this character is missing. For once I'd seen the end of the movie and knew the whole arc they were trying to pull off, there's some beat missing, and I can't identify it.
Okay, I don't know.
Which for me is like the difference between this character, like
I think you'll see it again, and maybe you'll settle down about it.
Now you said that you have a whole hot take on what you like about the whole Rose Finn plotline, because some people say that this is like the plotline that is the least consequential, could be lifted from the film, and you've been defending it pretty hard.
Of course, it's crazy that people say that to me. I mean, it's inconsequential in terms of like what they get wrapped up in pretty quickly. Is this sort of like harebrained scheme, like out of a Star Wars movie? Yeah,
it's Star Warsian.
Exactly, where they're gonna they're gonna zip over to some planet, they're gonna get a guy, they're gonna break onto a Star Destroyer, and they're gonna break the hyperspace tracker so that they can escape.
Because she's resistance tech, and when he starts explaining to her this thing about them being able to
figure out how the tracking would work and how we would disrupt it, and they're both like janitor types. You know, they both have worked in the bowels of ships.
Right.
So they kind of get that. Him on the first.
So they go to Poe, who's like the regional manager. It's like the highest ranking person. They're really close.
No, but Poe's also like, what the, we need to fucking do something really, really cool.
Right.
Like, I think we should do sort of like a Star Wars thing right now.
Right.
Like, I don't like Laura Dern's plan, which seems to be like caution and moderation.
Right.
Not into that. Like, what if we did something completely stupid?
Yeah, like hired Colin Trevorrow to direct a Star Wars film.
And they're like, well, let's hire Colin Trevorrow to break the site. And he's like, no, he won't do it.
Yeah.
He won't take my calls. Too talented. I don't know.
The captain? I can't even read
No. So they're like, what if we do all this crazy shit? And he's like, go do it.
Yes,
and
yes.
Spoiler alert, their plan fails.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it ends up being a real wild goose chase.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right?
They get caught up with some unsavory types. They see a little bit of the galaxy, and they form a real strong bond.
And the arc of the movie to me is more about Finn, who is a baby, who has no concept of why the Rebel Alliance or the Resistance, whatever, should really exist, apart from that the First Order is bad. He doesn't like the First Order.
Yeah.
Understanding like the underpinnings of this galaxy and like what they're actually fighting against.
Yeah.
But at the same time, without the sort of like, it's not goofy and gung-ho. Like, it's textured. And, like, the Del Toro character is there to be like, I get what you're saying, kid, but, I don't know if this is exactly black and white over here.
It's a murky universe.
Right.
You know what I'm realizing?
And she is this character who's like, I am the marginalized people of this galaxy, right?
But she's also still entirely optimistic.
Right.
She believes so thoroughly in the good that can exist in people.
I mean, the thing I love about this character, and people probably just don't like this part of the movie maybe, but like, is that when he's like, Cantabite, what's it like? And she's like, it's the worst. It's full of the worst people. It's the worst place. And then he arrives and it's this like gorgeous casino planet with all this fun shit. And like, and she's like, just what I thought. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about her.
Yeah.
But sorry, what were you going to say?
I'm realizing I think the emotional beat I'm missing to make this entire plotline work for me is there's a lot of Rose explaining where she comes from, what she's had to go through, what she's had to persevere past.
There's one scene.
I'm not saying there's too much.
Sure, maybe two scenes.
I'm saying you have her at the beginning, you have her talk about the sister.
Her at the beginning where she talks about her sister
dying,
and then on Cantabite where she's sort of like, look closer.
I'm saying there's the correct amount of that.
She's offering some advice that Alan Ball offered in American Beauty. Look closer.
Yeah, sure. Which, God, so fucking profound.
Agreed.
This movie could use a plastic bag floating around at some point.
Plastic blaff?
I don't know. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I didn't say it.
You're being so mean to me.
I love you.
I never get to talk on this podcast.
No. We'll say bag. We'll get a clean.
Never get to talk.
It's really true how you never get to talk on this
Ever.
podcast.
Just
It's something
say
I've been
bag.
worried about.
Yeah.
Just get a clean take a bag.
Okay. Like a plastic bag floating around.
All right, what's
Did we
the
get
one?
that?
What's
Did we get that?
Yeah, we got it clean.
Okay.
That's the whole episode.
Cool.
This is a great postscript, by the way.
By the way, yeah, really long.
No, I don't think so.
I guess it's about as long as our usual.
No, what's the beat you're looking
Cancel
for
our podcast. The beat I'm looking for, I think, that would make this whole plot line and their relationship
Sing for you.
just that final bit.
What is it?
I want the moment where Finn opens up to her about his past experiences.
That's fair. I mean,
Because she knows his story, the legacy.
Right.
Oh, first order, this and that. I want some moment when he relates to her, because it's a lot of him listening to her talk about what she's gone through.
Right.
And I feel like they don't have the deep emotional bonding moment that I want. They're sort of unified by being in this high stakes situation together.
I agree with all that.
Nice kids.
But I like that his big moment is this literal and metaphorical triumph over Phasma, where he not only defeats her, and she is, because people are like, Phasma's really not a character in these movies. Now she's dead.
Yeah.
And I say to that two things. One, she's totally going to come back in episode 9. She's going to be all burned up and weird, and I'm going to love it.
Yeah, me too.
Or maybe she won't. I don't know. But I would
hope
be so
she's
into
back.
that. If
Zombie
she's like,
Phasma,
like
100%.
burnt Phasma. Come on.
Now she's bronze.
But yeah, yeah, she's like copper Phasma.
Yeah.
No. But also, like, she is just a stand-in for like the trauma of Finn's life in the First Order, right?
She's the man. She's the school marm.
Not beyond that, like the tormentor, the person who is like, you are, and she says it literally like you're a cog in a machine or whatever. You know what I mean? Like she has that line to him in this movie. So he's defeating that part of his past, right? Mm-hmm. But then so that's his arc here. But her arc is teaching him like the people matter.
I agree, but let me ask you this, okay?
We're not gonna, that's how we're gonna win, not by destroying what we hate,
I agree.
by saving what
I
we
love
love.
all the messaging of this movie, but this is what I want to ask you.
I want to give Ryan Johnson a medal for that line.
When they're on that fucking balcony and they're looking out at
Can't
those
bite, sure.
creatures doing the race, do we know what they're called?
The Thandril. I can look it up. I think
Okay.
that's what they're called.
And she talks about like, no, but look at what's going on underneath. Look at the coal that's being shoveled in to operate this train, right? Mm-hmm. And pointing out the abuse of these children, you know?
So, sorry, not Thandrils. That's a Harry Potter thing. The Fathiers, something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, space horses.
Don't you feel like if there was some moment where Finn opened up to her and was like, I know that feeling, and sort of talked about the sort of like pipeline of being a child soldier, being reared for that, spoke of whether or not directly or indirectly the presence of Phasma-like figures in his life.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. That might be cool. I don't know.
It would also, I think, make the Phasma thing land a little more heartily for me.
This is the one time in the history of this podcast that you said something where I'm like, no, I get that.
Hey, finally.
No, I get what you mean, but
First episode you let me talk. First episode where you realized that I'm a genius.
It's famed for how quiet you are on this show.
Yeah.
And like how, reticent you are to jump in.
You muzzled me.
You just had this triumphant moment where you actually won me over.
Yeah.
It was a huge moment in
I
the
succeeded.
show.
Now, David, I want you to sell me on something.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how do you feel about drama?
I mean, love it.
How do you feel about science fiction?
The best.
How do you feel about podcasts?
I don't know if it's going to be a lasting medium, but
okay,
I'm with it for the time being.
All right. What if it's more of like a sort of single episode podcast, feature length?
Okay.
Like an hour and a half long. It tells a complete story, like more, sort of like an old fashioned radio play,
like a movie for your ears. Wow, I should write ad copy.
Exactly. All right. Well, I want to talk to you about this show called Cerberus Rex.
Okay, good title.
It is a science fiction show.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and a half long. Sort of an audio adventure, I guess, is as you put it, a movie for your ears. That's available to stream or download on sci-fi.com. That's sci-fi.com.
And that's not a domain name you come by easily.
No, it's sci-fi-fi.
That's a real deal domain name. Yeah.
You can get it a high quality version of it for $2, or you can just listen to it for free in regular quality version. I don't know if they have a Professor Crispy working on that high quality version, but it's possible.
It sounded pretty crisp to my ears.
That might be
crisp.
the where Professor Crispy is.
That's why
This
you always
is not
denounce the title, because you are
Professor
not Professor Crispy.
No, so
But
they might
They might have hired the good doctor himself.
I think
they
that
do.
Jason over at Cerberus Rex, he might have, formed a dark alliance with Professor Crispy. Well, maybe it's a nice
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Let's say this too, okay? Oh, I like listening to audiobooks. Well, guess what? That's not the medium that this work was intended to be heard in.
Fair enough, right? It's a book,
and then someone's reading it, okay?
No, this is it's like a radio drama. I mean, I've listened to some of these, like The Message. I was talking about The Message. I like that a while back. There's this sort of revival of great old school radio plays.
Let's talk about a level of intentionality. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write a 90-minute fucking sci-fi drama designed for this medium.
Gonna get professional actors.
Hells yeah.
Voice actors.
Yeah.
But also theater actors, screen actors.
Yeah.
Gonna have music.
Special effects.
Sound effects.
Pew, 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 ding dong, ding dong.
Suspense.
Yeah.
And it's, gonna have twists and turns. It's a involving, look, I like talking about butt wipes as much as the next guy.
All of us do.
Love being sponsored by butt wipes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool to talk about an actual work of drama on this show and promote that.
Look, we love art. We are patrons of the arts,
Right,
if nothing
exactly.
else, okay? And this is a work of art made by someone
Jason Hardcastle.
who, let's say it, is a blankie.
He is, yeah. He's a fan of the show, and he reached out to us for us to listen to the show. He wanted to see if we were into it, and
We said fucking
talk about it on the show. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really want to get into the plot of it because I feel like the whole point of it is getting sort of sucked in by it.
Yes.
But it's about these scientists investigating a sort of physics mystery. It's got
Secret
kind of
experiments.
an X-Files sort of vibe with sort of a John Carpenter The Thing kind of atmosphere, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's great. And you guys should listen to it at sci.fi.com.
Hells yeah.
Hells yeah. All right.
Okay, so now we're back on the island of Acto.
So this shit's great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you liked the island stuff pretty much
I
uniformly.
was so excited that I was seeing Luke Skywalker in a movie.
Sure. Interesting. See, I like Luke Skywalker, but it's not I Han Solo was the one where I was I was worrying about him and I wanted him to be okay. And felt
sure.
Luke, I'm sort of Luke can do whatever he wants. I'm not going to worry about it.
Han Solo is my favorite character.
He's cool.
Or was my childhood favorite character. I think I've become more of a Leia guy with time from the original sequel trilogy.
Virtue signaling much.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm kidding.
She's the Lisa Simpson of the Star Wars universe.
She's the best.
But Luke represents so much. There's so much power in the idea of Luke Skywalker. And I also think the rush of watching Mark Hamill get a part like this
and nail it and do well.
That was the big
it's
thing
very
for me.
exciting.
Yeah,
You're
because
right.
he did mostly become a voice actor, and you'd hear him in interviews say I kind of resigned to the fact I don't think I'm going to get that big live action role again. I thought I could age into being an interesting kind of character actor, and it mostly feels like voice acting. And then he does these sort of cameos where it feels like Children of Star Wars casting him to show up for one scene.
Right. Even in stuff
points.
like Brigsby Bear, which he's good in, it's he's being deployed as Mark Hamill, even if he's playing another
I
character.
always think he's good. But also he's done a lot of animation voice acting, which is very big, very often. And so there's that question of can he go back to live action?
He's really good, actually.
He's really good.
I actually, I'm just sort of thinking about all the choices he's making.
And he's kind of got, I know.
He's also got a good face right now.
He looks incredible.
You know what I mean? He's aged into this. He looked like they did it right. He looks like this grizzled, kind of slightly freaky.
Great glassy-eyed work.
Oh my God. His eye work in this movie is
eyes.
great. Because that's the thing, sometimes when you see people who are predominantly voice actors, I know he's a different case because he started out as an on-camera stage actor, right?
Right.
when you see them on screen, their voice can feel a little disconnected from their body.
Sure.
Because they've honed that one thing so much.
Yeah, I get you.
But he's doing like a full, incredible, rich vocal performance. Like he really knows how to play his voice like an instrument now.
Right.
But then also he's got this incredible, like fucking clenched, like jaw, glassy eyed, like broken, bottled fucking fear that he's holding on to in every single shot.
Yeah.
He's got some amazing close-ups in this movie.
He does.
When he attacks Kylo, oh my God, it's intense. And it's also kind of really showing that even Luke Skywalker is going between good and evil.
Yeah, not so simple. And I like, you know, I always like the meta energy of an actor so excited to be given the chance that you can feel how much they're fucking given into the movie. That he can't believe he's getting to play this part. You know?
Yeah. Even though he sort of talked about how freaked out he was by Rian Johnson's like take on Luke.
Yeah, I think he thought he was just going to get to play like heroic Luke.
Right. Yeah, probably. Right. Yeah.
Originally, you know?
Well, how does Luke get won over to like work with Rey after ignoring her for a while? He goes to the Falcon.
Oh.
He's sort of exploring around because he's, you know, wrestling with the death of Han.
He asks about Han because he sees Chewie.
Yeah.
Where's Han? What happened to Han? And then he goes and he sees the dice.
Sees the dice, which are this like very like minor piece of lore, but they are in the original movie. And they're not in all of them. They're only in the original movie and Force Awakens.
Oh,
because
really?
the set dresser like forgot about them in the sequels.
Weird.
But I always knew about the dice because like any of the like the Star Wars cards and all that, you know, they would always like throw them in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans were like, Han was like, he had dice? What's this? It's not like Han was like, I'm the dice man.
No, but it's like the fucking dice, the fuzzy dice and the...
No, I know what it is. Yeah, of course.
I mean, he did do that smoking trick.
He did do the,
put his arm around his head.
Dickory dock. Yeah.
Little Liz Muffet. Why can't I speak today? I'm literally mispronouncing every word every time I try to do a bit.
Correct. Well done.
Want to get a clean take?
Who does he run into?
Okay.
Oh,
Little Liz Muffet.
Who does he run into on the Falcon? You're really struggling to
Our
remember
buddy
this.
R2-D2.
R2-D2.
Our good friend R2-D2.
And in what I think is a pretty cute little prod from Rian Johnson to J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
R2, he's talking, R2 says like, you know, essentially I think he's saying, what the fuck's the matter with you living on this island?
Watch the language.
Sacred island, watch the language.
Yeah.
And then R2, he's like, nothing, I'm not doing this.
No
I'm
way.
not interested.
No way,
Nothing
Jose.
you could do.
Yeah.
And R2 plays the Leia tape.
Yeah.
And he goes like, that's a cheap shot, buddy.
Which, especially now with the passing of Carrie Fisher, like that was the moment that brought me closest to tears.
Oh, it's so good.
But
I also do,
right?
Yeah, it did get one. Yeah, and it just it conjures up the optimism of
of his original story and
right. He's now so hard
the
and
thrill
cynical.
of the rebellion, and
right,
like,
and he's seeing that Rey is like Leia, like him at that point, at that age, where it's like they actually believe that they can save the galaxy. And maybe the people who think that that's possible are the people who need to be empowered to do so.
Yeah.
At least try.
So he starts training Rey, and we pretty quickly have the music. I mean, the music cue, and you should listen to the score. And I believe the cue is the track is called maybe it's called The Last Jedi. It might actually be called that.
Okay.
Like of Luke marching out. Is John Williams is just like, hey man, I ain't dead.
Yeah.
You know. But he starts training Rey. We have my favorite scene in the movie.
Which is?
The first lesson. He says he's going to give her 3 lessons.
With the pebbles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where essentially he's sort of probing her force powers. But beyond that, he is explaining what the Force is.
Yeah, this is really
in this way that films have never even tried to do before, in a poetic manner.
It's like a Terrence Malick sequence.
Yes,
like it becomes like the Tree of Life.
It's wonderful.
Yeah,
I really think
I think so too.
it's very economical. It's not over the top.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's also the line where he's like, what's the Force? And she's like, it's this like magic power. You can make people do things and lift rocks and stuff.
100% wrong.
And he's like, that's not what it is. And then he does the thing where he tickles her finger with the leaf, which is really funny.
And like, I'll give him 2 comedy points for that. I'll give him 5.
It's really funny. Because he's like, look at him in that scene when you rewatch it, where he's like, oh yeah, that must be the Force. That's what it is.
You know what's the thing I find very interesting about this film? Rian Johnson is on record as a Phantom Menace trilogy defender.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And, you know, you wonder how much of that is like diplomatic now that he's like, you know, part of the machinery. But he seems to talk about it intelligently enough and be like, it's its own thing.
Guy.
I respect it for different reasons.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of him trying to bridge the gap between the two.
Yeah.
And make those first 3 Phantom Menace movies work more in the larger context here.
Right.
And he's sort of like not throwing out anything in the Phantom Menace trilogy, but getting into like a deeper thing where he's like, I'm not saying it's not midi-chlorians.
No,
but I'm also
we're just not going to talk about that.
And I'm also not saying it's everything they said in the original 3.
Sure, right.
I'm getting to like, I'm an old dude here. Here's what the Force really fucking is.
Here's what the Force means to me. You know, he's like, what do you feel? And
Yeah.
she's like, life, death, you know, peace, violence.
Yeah.
Right? Like she keeps sort of, and he's like in between it all, and she says balance.
Yeah.
And there's these nice visual representations of all these things as she sort of, but Luke's point is right, balance. It's for everybody. Like this isn't a Jedi thing, okay?
No, I mean, the future of the galaxy rests on the undecided voters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have your first order, you have your resistance.
God. Yeah,
and
it's a polarized time.
Yeah, it's
You're
a
right.
polarized time. You need the people who are aware of the balance and moderation to be able to fucking nurture that.
But then she like forces out and cracks things and floats some pebbles and has a vision of this like sort of dark place on the island.
Pool, this like weird sinkhole.
It's cool.
And then also he flips out.
Yeah, he's like, you're too powerful.
I've seen that power once
before. This is
before.
like Ben. I wasn't scared of him. I'm scared of you. Yeah.
And she makes it clear that she felt everything on the island other than him. Right. He's turned himself off to the Force.
Yeah.
He's gone Force sober.
Came here
now.
to die.
Came here to die, along with the Jedi.
So what's happening at the same time as all this island shit is that Rey's having these conversations with Kylo Ren.
Yes.
They keep meeting each other in their minds.
Yeah, which I think is a really cool cinematic device.
I think it's awesome.
It's very simple, but it's done very well. Able to do this cross-cutting conversational thing.
Yeah, where they're in their own rooms. Then the only time you see them together in the same room, it's this like kind of frightening sight.
Yes.
Where it's like they've gotten so close that they can actually sort of manifest themselves in front of each other.
Yeah, and I think this definitely feels like he had the opposite actor on each set. Doing this off camera because it's very.
That's interesting. I wonder about that because that would have been such a task.
They're very focused performances.
Yeah.
You know,
they're so good.
Yeah, and they're really relating to each other, even though they're in different backgrounds. Like, you know, you rarely get them in the same shot in any of these conversations. Every once in a while, you have one of them peeking into the other one's place for a moment. But it's that kind of like super analog trickery that almost excites me most in big movies like this.
Agreed.
Doing shot reverse shot in different ends of the galaxy.
And it's like, it's sort of playing in the pool of like the Rey Kylo Ren connection where it's like, are they related? Is that why this is happening? Are they in love? Is that why this is happening? Like, but also, is Rey going to turn evil? Is he going to turn good?
This other thing that Rian Johnson's really trying to do, which is like, yes, all of this is indebted to the previous Star Wars films.
Yeah.
But I'm not making this the exact same dynamic we've done before.
Right.
These two characters as figureheads are going to be different than the protagonists and villains we've had before, but also what they represent, the forces that they're leading, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to hang closer to the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not so much about stark opposites anymore.
Well, and also it's like these characters are so, like their place in the world is so volatile. You know, like Kylo Ren's, the whole point of him is he's this like fountain of power. And since he got turned, like Rey is this sort of fountain that's risen like,
and there are characters that are burdened by legacy. He wants to be Darth Vader and she wants to be Luke Skywalker. And both of them are starting to wonder like, wait, who are these actual people that I'm trying to be?
I love that about Rey though, that in the last movie she wants to be Han Solo and in this movie she's like, I mean, he's cool, but I think I might want to be Luke Skywalker.
And we know that in the next movie she's going to want to be Watto. But this is where Driver starts to really fucking blow me away because this whole movie is him just like a coin somehow balancing up on its side,
right?
Waiting to see where it's going to fall, and he actually creates an astonishing amount of tension,
right?
Trying to figure out where he's going to go, and whether or not he's manipulating you, the audience, whether he's manipulating her,
or if he's genuinely that conflicted.
And he does it all in a very bottled way. I mean, it's the thing about acting where it's like, it's always more interesting to watch someone try to hold back than to show.
What he's so good at something like Patterson.
And he's trying not to show anything, but you're seeing the emotion seep out from all sides of him. The hatred, the vulnerability, all of it.
I said this before you got here, comparing this performance with Hayden.
Yeah.
It's he just kills it.
You actually, he's found a way to visualize through his face someone weighing the balance of his own morality.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden had the problem of, one, his was being directed by George Lucas, and two, he was acting alongside tennis balls. But three, he was playing this character where we're all like, he's going to be Darth Vader. Yeah. So anytime he's a bitch,
sure,
not to not to be too glib about it, but anytime he's like, we're like, oh, Darth Vader's supposed to be cool, man. What the fuck?
But I'm watching this movie and I'm going like, you know what? Whatever we are, like an hour into the movie or whatever, I'm watching it and I'm going like
2 hours into the podcast is what you mean.
Yeah. I'm going, there's a chance that by the time we get to episode 9, Kylo Ren's the hero and Rey's the villain. Like, they could pull this off.
When
Both
I'm seeing this, I'm watching this movie,
and they're starting to shake hands.
The first time, I'm genuinely wondering, is that the trick they're going to pull? Where saving Rey will be the focus of the 9th movie? Right. Like, is that going to happen? And I'm concerned because I don't want it to, because I just don't think you can pull it off. But it is amazing how close they feel to pulling it off. Yes. Yeah. And of course, he's planting this thing in her mind of like, Luke's version of like the massacre is a little different, like from my version. Yeah. Luke's version is I was evil and he rebelled, and my version is I woke up with Luke getting ready to kill me.
He tried to preemptively kill me.
Yeah, there's this sort of Rashomon, like we see the scene 3 times, right? And the 3rd time is probably the closest to the truth, which is like Luke thought about it.
He had the moment of weakness.
And even in thinking about it, he helped propel Ben, into becoming
and that's the main reason that he cast himself out of society. Yeah. Is that he felt like, I don't want to be Luke Skywalker, the legend. I can't handle that.
He just loves that milk right off the tip. Just
yeah, he's sucking right off the tip. Yeah. Okay, so now
the nuns. Fish nuns.
Oh yeah, they're fish
Just want to shout them out. Turtle nuns. They're great, and I love them.
So
they live on the island, and they're
the
great.
running bit with
like Rey keeps smashing shit.
Yeah,
and they're like, this fucking girl. Man.
So we've covered a good degree of the Canto Bight stuff just by zooming ahead, but they're sent there because they need someone who can.
So they talk to Maz.
An 8th build Lupita Nyong'o appearing only via hologram.
I think that's a pretty good joke, though. Yeah. Where she's like having some kind of wacky space adventure like that we should see in a spin-off movie. Yeah. Which is a union dispute, she says. Uh-huh. What do you think?
Yeah. It's good. Good comedy. Yeah, whatever.
I want Maz in 9 now.
I do too.
Like, I want Maz to do a whole bit.
I miss Maz.
She's great.
Yeah.
But she's like, go recruit my friend, the Master Code Breaker. He's on Canto Bight. He wears a red flower.
Yeah, he co-wrote Iron Man 2. Rock of Ages.
Everyone talks about his dick a lot.
Yeah, which is like kind of a weird double standard that we haven't really started investigating yet.
Well, we're starting to, I think.
Yeah, let's start digging into that.
Yeah, well, you talk about dicks a lot.
I do, but I think in a very positive way. I think.
Sure. Yeah.
I think in a very progressive way. They go to try to recruit him at the casino planet Canto Bight, which has become another point of people going like, this feels like prequel shit. And I look at it and I'm like, this feels like the good execution of what Lucas was trying to do in the prequels.
Here's what this feels like. It's awesome.
Yeah, it feels like Star Wars.
John Williams is like, again, like, I'm not dead. Like,
he's throwing out some bangers.
Oh my God. The score for this whole sequence is amazing. That long shot Ryan does where, he pushes through the casino and you just see 8,000 amazing creatures doing weird gambling stuff.
I love space drunks, right?
Oh, space drunks. Yeah, there's that weird little like gremlin who starts putting coins into BB-8.
But up until now, we've only been in space dive bars where it's like, this is a hive of scum and villainy.
Right, because again, it's that cut of Rose being like, it's the worst place. And you're like, oh, it's like Mos Eisley. And then you cut to these people being like, ooh, yeah. They're like clinking their champagne
space
glasses.
Monocles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. This is like a high thread count scum.
Yes.
Throw looks great. He slams his dick out on the table.
He's your red herring, right? Red flower, red herring. He's awesome, and I'd love to see a whole movie about Justin Theroux, James Bond,
Yes.
Space Bond.
But instead they get thrown into the slammer.
Because they parked in the wrong place, because poor people are not allowed to be in this casino planet.
And they can sniff them out immediately.
Exactly.
And these are all war profiteers.
Yeah, they're arms dealers, they're weapons people. Like, that's what Rose is pointing out to Finn. Like, that's how you
What's the biggest business in the galaxy?
World.
Wars. It's not called Star Peace, baby. So they get thrown in the slammer, in the tombs, the drunk tank, right?
Yeah.
along with a lawyer played
Yeah.
by full Benicio del Toro. Now, I have to say, this is a big movie. This is a crazy big budget, right?
Yeah.
State-of-the-art resources. This film has the single most incredible special effect I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know if it's digital. I don't know if it's practical. I can't tell if it's a
What's he doing?
prosthetic,
Uh-huh.
if it's an animatronic. They have found some way to make Benicio del Toro look tired.
That was your big joke that you didn't want me to spoil, I'm
Killed.
assuming.
Let's be honest.
It was very funny.
You
the
laughed
second
for
he
30
showed up.
seconds.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I said, how'd they do it?
How'd they do it? And I'm like, what? Wait, what? And he's like, how'd they make him look so tired? It's pretty funny.
See, Ben, the joke is that Benicio del Toro always looks sleep deprived.
Benicio del Toro
You know what
looks
he needs?
looks like he's been in like
Casper
hyper.
mattress.
He needs a Casper mouth.
He does, yes. He's been in hyper sleep since
Also some Mac Weldon.
The Usual
Also
Suspects.
Pro Flowers.
Because he's kind of doing The Usual Suspects
He
a
is.
little bit.
Yes.
That kind of like,
Little stuttering.
he's got this stutter that he's added. Right?
Yeah.
He's going full Del Toro.
I
They knew what they wanted.
I like it.
I love it.
I think
I'm
he's so fun.
really into
My
it.
favorite thing is when he goes to get something from his little bunk in the
Yeah.
prison, and it's his boots, and he drapes them over his shoulders.
Yes.
Listen,
Are you kidding me?
Star Scum. Okay,
He is Star Scum.
I like Star Scum.
Yeah.
I've been
Also-
missing on some Star Scum.
I also like that they're like, where are we going to find a cold breaker? And he's like, I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're fine. He's like, I'm just saying, I can get you into Snoke's boudoir. He's like, and they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We don't want to deal with you. It's only after he literally breaks out, they're like,
Yeah.
I guess we should go
Jesus
with this
Christ,
guy.
yeah. But he's like a space crust punk. He's got a Jughead hat. And he's got like a pocket full of pins that he can use to like, they're essentially like lock picks, right?
Yeah,
like
they're
space
pretty
lock
cool.
picks.
They're pretty
and he says
cool.
he's a lawyer. He's like a night court lawyer.
He's great.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole sequence where they break the horses out and ride them around. Now,
Yeah.
while I watched this sequence, I burst into tears and cried for the whole thing.
Really?
And then, like, the first time. And other people, as we were walking out, were like, I like the movie a lot, except for the space horses.
Okay, I'm going to throw out a complaint that I think you're going to just go, nope, wrong, shut up.
Great.
I think
I was very locked into Rose actualizing, like, her own feelings here with this sort of mutant
Agreed,
thing.
100%.
And I like the kids and shit.
100%.
Yeah.
Here's my gripe.
Yeah.
It's a little one.
Yeah.
I think the compositing in this movie is a little dodgy. I think whenever it gets into live action actors in a mostly CGI zone, the compositing isn't as
You're
strong
always
here.
talking about compositing.
Because it sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think,
What? Which, you mean just them running?
yeah, when they're in like the full CGI environment, I also think it happens during the battle with BB-8 on the walker and shit like that. There's some sequences where I think
Those are the two.
it's
A
like
little muddier.
the Spielberg
I know. We
percentage
talked about
thing.
75-25. I know.
Because I think Ryan Johnson is pretty analog.
about it.
He's an analog dude.
I agree. I agree.
And JJ maybe has a little more experience with that. You know, Gareth Edwards has a little more
but,
experience with that.
You know, Force Awakens also has a couple sequences where the visuals are kind of flat. Like, it's hard. This shit's hard.
I agree. There's just a couple moments where they look like color forms placed onto a CGI movie.
Such a nerd.
I am.
Big old nerd.
I'm owning it.
But I just like the idea, I guess.
I do too.
I like her getting taking the saddle off at the end
And
there,
the
saying
thing-
this now
yes.
it's worth it.
The
Yeah.
thing that Phantom Menace trilogy defenders always throw out is like, look, JJ was just rehashing the old movies. Like, Lucas was actually trying to do new shit with it. And it's like, here's the best of both worlds. Here's like new shit that's actually well executed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This isn't like fucking Dexter Jettster's Diner, which, let me say, is like, I mean, good food and affordable prices,
Yeah.
but thematically doesn't make a ton of sense.
Sure.
It's just this weird fucking 50s nostalgia bent. Whereas the casino thing is like, this actually says something about the universe, the structure of how it works.
I agree. Now, I mocked openly a tweet that said something along the lines of like, this movie's worse than episode 3. Even George Lucas never made a film where half the storyline is pointless filler. And I was like, one, have you seen the pod race in episode 1?
The best sequence of all time.
Pointless filler. I mean, George Lucas is the king of pointless filler.
I mean, now that's what I call pod racing.
That was, to be fair, an official CD, compilation CD that was released on Tatooine, right? Now that's what I call pod racing.
Correct. Also, weird of Barack Obama to tweet that, especially since he's been pretty quiet recently.
I think he finally found something he wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, you've been mocking that. I think all this works, and I think it is.
Whereas, I think this is not
building.
pointless filler. Yeah. Whereas I think something like the pod race, which I do enjoy, is Lucas being like, well, I can't just take the kid. So I guess there'll be like a whole thing about a bet, a double bet on a pod race.
But then this gets to one of my favorite elements of the movie, which is they're down in the trenches and they see these kids who are like slaves, you know, tending after these creatures.
Yeah.
And Rose and Finn are able to come to them and be like, hey, look.
There's this key moment where Rose
secret Dakota
opens
ring.
her sort of French resistance Dakota ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
And being like, we're with the resistance. Like, yeah.
And you see them all just go like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because like here are two kids who like came out of nothing.
3?
No, I'm saying Finn and Rose.
Oh, sure, fair enough. Yeah.
You know, it's like these are now relatable heroes.
This is true. This is true. They're similar to these kids.
Yes.
Their upbringing. You know, mining planet for Rose.
And it's kind of a meta thing about like what Star Wars
Order.
means to children. You know?
Love it.
But it works.
I love it.
Works.
I mean, this to me feels like inherent to Johnson's initial pitch.
Yeah.
Because it's the ending of the movie
for
these kids.
Do you think that's what his trilogy is going to be, if not directly, kind of? I'm wondering if, since it seems like Episode 9 is going to be the end of the Skywalker saga, he's going to make a new trilogy of new characters who are kind of the children of the outcome of these films.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. He's also kind of talked about like going to the further reaches though. So like maybe it won't be as sort of like Fate of the Galaxy oriented.
That's my hope. Yeah.
New Hope.
It would be a great New Hope.
So back to Octo.
Yeah.
There's the big fight between Rey and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Where she sort of confronts him finally and says, like, what happened with Ben?
She also, before this, she goes down into the pit.
Yeah.
And does the infinite mirrors and the snapping
man. What do you think
routine.
of that sequence?
She almost breaks into a Fosse number thing.
Yeah, it's a Busby Berkeley sequence.
Yeah, I think the compositing is a little dodgy. But
I actually rolled my eyes at that. I was really annoyed about that.
You did a full, fucking George Clooney Ocean's 13 eye roll.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Thank you. But I like the sequence a lot.
I love that. I mean, look, I love the cave of evil in Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. I love Luke, facing off against, right? But the metaphor is clear, right? In that, to me, the idea of this scene is,
oh yes, definitely, totally clear.
No, in the Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Like the metaphor is very clear. Luke chops off Darth Vader's head. Right. Luke's face is underneath. We get it.
But
he's his own worst enemy.
But in this movie too, it's super clear.
Well, I like that it's more.
I know exactly what they're saying.
Yeah. She wants to see her parents, and she's like, at the end of this long line of Reys, like trying to get to some like final answer.
Yeah,
and it's like he's telling us like. Rey, it's about Rey.
She has to make her own destiny.
Right. But,
she's looking for an answer that there is no easy fix.
Exactly. But it's not doing it in the way where
Keep going.
Yeah, Ben's definitely saying all of our points in unison.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where we're singing a song and he's like, Homa the Brave. Right. I do like that sequence a lot. But then, that's when right afterwards is when she confronts Luke. And they have that little fight with the sticks. I think that's cool. Yeah. Where Luke's finally waking up,
Yeah, they're in the rain. And
he snaps off the branch and he sort of stops himself when she gets the lightsaber.
Luke owns up to it.
But his owning up is good and it feels right. Yeah.
And she just kind of says something like, look, we need you now. I'm saying it one more time. I'm going to go off.
Right.
I know what I got to do. I think I can get Ben. I think I can win him back. So you coming with me or not? And she holds out the lightsaber again. And he's like, hard pass.
Yeah.
And she's like, but is this hard pass like the way the blank check always say hard pass, where then it actually means that the performance is good?
By the way, coming up.
Yeah. That'll be in hour 7 if you want to skip ahead. And
I can't believe I have to say, well, whatever, it's fine.
She leaves in there.
She leaves in there and she kind of pulls a Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Where she just surrenders to her enemy,
Right.
In chains, you know. But before we get to that sequence, which is the best, there's this shot that you thought was so pretty right after that, where Luke is like, I've failed. And, he's walking over to the tree And there's this shot you loved at the back of a character's head.
Okay, I love that shot. It's the shot after that I don't like.
Oh, okay. What shot is it you didn't like? I don't know. We were joking about this shot right at the end of the movie.
Luke is having a moment of real,
he's going to go
despondency.
Burn down the tree,
Burn
the Jedi library of 6 books or whatever it is.
And then
he's got like a flare.
Yeah. The camera pans. And then who do we see?
We see a fuzzy little head, 2 pointy ears.
Why, it's old Yoder himself.
Yes.
It's Yoder.
The character we really came around on.
Yeah. Gets good later.
Yeah.
And surprised, there had been rumors that he was maybe in the movie. Frank Oz.
See, I had no idea.
See, I had heard
no
inklings.
idea.
Do you want to know why I had inklings that he was maybe in the movie? Because I was really good about staying away from all the rumor mongering about this movie. Because of fucking Muppet fan blogs. Anytime Frank Oz was doing anything and they questioned him about it, he'd give weird, sketchy answers.
It's because you're too in on the Muppets.
That's the thing. I was staying away from the wars, but the Mups.
Right. That's the crossover point.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't know, maybe I'm in it.
Yoda's in the movie.
Yoda is in the movie, and it cuts around to his front side, and immediately we all went like, wait, is this CGI? Is it a puppet? They've clearly harkened back to the older design of Yoda.
Right.
Yoder, sorry. It is a puppet.
Yeah.
I think it's well puppeteered. They got the characterization 100% correct.
That's what made me so happy.
I think at the opening couple of shots, when they're putting that Force Ghost filter on him.
He's got the blue halo,
That filter itself is so CGI that it makes the puppet look less tactile. And as the scene goes on and they drop the filter and he becomes more physical presence next to Luke, then I think the puppet looks great.
Great. Let's talk about the scene.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yoder.
Yeah. Yoda. This is a great scene. I couldn't believe how good it was.
Here's the thing they got right.
Yeah.
Yoda's a little stinker.
He's a little piece of shit.
He's a little stinker.
Like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, this enfant terrible. He likes fucking with people.
Well, and also it's like
he's a real prankster.
He's watching Luke once again not go through with something. Where Luke's like, I'm totally going to burn it down. And then he's like, oh, shit, I probably shouldn't. And so he just goes like, boop, and lights it all on fire himself, Yoda.
He's like, who cares?
Page
looks like those books. Yeah.
They were not.
They were not. They're dumb books.
Yeah.
Boring.
Ray's got it. She gets it. Don't worry about her.
Yoda essentially is like a dude who took his career too seriously and then later in life was like, oh, it's all play.
Yeah, where he was just like, yeah, Jesus, what 800 years of like fighting Yaddle's appointment on a Jedi.
I was the problem. Let me own up, become the solution. Let me have some fun. Let me knock a stick around. Boil snakes.
I mean, he's also just what happened to George Lucas, right? I mean, that's what Yoda is.
Yes.
Like in the prequels is older George Lucas. The problem is that he Benjamin buttoned, because it's in the younger Yoda that he's more George Lucas-y, old George Lucas-y.
Right. Senility really helped Yoda.
But I just like,
lighten up.
The thing about like, that's the pain of being a master. We are what they grow beyond. It's such a lovely line about like,
I agree.
Like, Obi-Wan's burden, Yoda's burden, like all the burdens of all these like Jedis who've tried and kind of failed.
But also like if Star Wars is going to continue to mean something, it has to be this generation's Star Wars, not a Star Wars that is too deeply rooted in the past. This movie has to fully bridge us into a new generation that is not tied to the original films for emotional resonance.
Right. Yes. And and he's saying like, Luke, like, it's okay that you fucked up. Like, you should talk about fucking up. Yeah. To Rey. It's, she will learn from your failures.
But also, this is Rey's movie now.
True.
So just do what you can to help her.
Right.
Because she's the lead now.
Love this scene. Just love what a little, right? Little Grover he
Trickster
is.
Yoda. He's a little stinker. And then...
I'm just very impressed that Ryan, like... took the swing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can reclaim
stodgy
Yoda.
Old, dumb, fucking self-serious Yoda.
Yeah.
He's a little stinker. And Rey gets in, the Falcon goes into her little escape pod, lands on the ship, and immediately is cuffed. Or she gets there, she
Ren's
sees
there.
Ren, and she's like, hey, cool, so that conversation we were having, and he's like, nope, cuff her.
Yeah, you then did this you did this whole no with me for a while.
Not nice.
Takes her to the throne room.
Yeah.
Ben's favorite place.
Oh, did we talk about the Red Boys?
Love those Red Boys.
They got all kinds of cool, like new, like lightsaber weaponry. Like
they have like light blades,
a light whip,
crimson samurai armor. They look a little bit like the Dracula's armor from Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's really good design. They look great, and they're totally faceless masks. And you're just like, oh, are they just going to be really good background, right?
Yeah, they might be, right. They could just be
cool
awesome
design.
set dressing.
Right, like the Imperial Guards who never actually did anything. But in this scene, Rey is trying very hard to, like, she thinks she can get in there and fuck with Snoke and fuck with Ren.
She has this whole plan that she's going to turn Ren because when she has this charged conversation with him, she's like, I saw his future and he's going to be good.
Yeah. And she keeps on trying to pull a fast one, force a lightsaber out, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? This is amateur night.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're an open micer.
This is the Snoke scene.
Yeah, you think you can do, like, weekends, like 3 shows a night at, like, the fucking Yucklebone in Boise?
Uh-huh.
You're
That's
not a
what he
road
says.
dog yet.
No, she's not a road
You're an
dog.
open micer. You got 5 good minutes.
She has the thing, where
Your opener's weak.
He clonks her with.
You don't know crowd work.
Enough. Enough. My God, man. You madman.
Ben's telling me to stretch for time.
Yeah, I didn't put the light up.
I got time.
God.
So what's with this?
Let me do my chunk on millennials.
He clonks her with the lightsaber. That's cool.
Yeah.
What else?
I
guess his crucial line to me is where he says, like, check this out, Ren. Like,
yeah,
I told you, you get so dark, there's going to be someone to balance it out.
And Rey's like, he was close. And fucking Snoke's like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been maneuvering this entire thing.
I bridged your mind.
I know what a piss boy he is.
Yeah, right.
I set the 2 of you up. Everything's working according to plan. Don't think like you pulled anything on me.
He's giving the Emperor monologue from Return of the Jedi, where he's like, everything is my design.
And what I like about this is, despite his design being more monstrous, I think Serkis plays Snoke more human than McDermott's Palpatine in the later movies. I think he's playing them like he looks super fucking gross, but he's just a very kind of like
he's a
human
stinker.
evil.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
He's an asshole.
A bad alien man, whatever he is.
Asshole.
He's a total asshole. He's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I like to kill things and be bad.
Yeah, I like being bad.
And now I kill you.
Yeah.
And he tortures her. She gets lifted. That's a great shot of her lifted in the air. Gets the Luke info out of her, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Took
now
him 2
he knows.
movies.
But then
he's like, great, gonna kill you now. Kylo's gonna do it.
Right, and we see Kylo's hesitation. He's got the lightsaber.
And then
she's pleading for her life. And then he's got the other hand going like this under the table.
Right. As Snoke is like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, like, I can see him. He's decisive. There's no more doubt in his mind. He's going to strike.
Oh, because there was that earlier moment, too, when he has the shot to be able to take out Leia on the ship, and he doesn't take it. And someone else does. And you see him be affected. He couldn't so easily kill his mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is crucial.
Right.
I suppose that's sort of helping us believe Rey as well.
Right. And he's fighting to be seen as decisive and unwavering.
And so Snoke's like, yep, no, I can tell. You're about to do it, boy.
And what does Kylo do? He takes that lightsaber, sends it right through Snoke's tummy.
He takes Luke's lightsaber, spins it, and turns it on.
Cuts him in twain.
Answering
a
question I have always had, I believe I have asked on this podcast, which is, why don't you just turn someone's lightsaber off with the Force?
Uh-huh.
And the only response I ever got was, I guess if you're fighting someone, you know, they're too strong to let you do that.
Yeah.
But he turns it on with the Force.
Yes. Cool.
Cuts him in half.
And then there's this amazing
and he,
shot.
Falls down.
Right. He falls in half.
It's so good.
It rules. It's like when the brother is killed in Walk Hard.
Yes.
And
what's that line? Oh, it's so good. Go on. I'm going to find the line.
And then there's this amazing shot where they look at each other and they're like, it's on. Now they each have a lightsaber, and in slow motion, they turn out.
It's a wide shot.
Yeah.
In slow motion, right. They sort of go back to back.
And I literally lean forward to the edge of my seat.
What did I do? You maybe weren't paying attention.
You tapped me on the shoulder? I don't know.
No, I went like that.
David was punching the air.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning forward. I'm letting out giddy squeeze.
And then I'm all like...
Yeah. Okay, Ben looks like he's surfing, but confused.
Yep.
He was sort of throwing his hands out. What? And then they just have this awesome lightsaber battle where they fight all these guards.
Dewey, I'm cut in half pretty bad. That's the line in Walk Hard.
Dewey, I'm cut in half pretty bad. And they take them all out, and it's like, great, we got that done. We win.
No, but that's so good, though.
Yeah.
Right? That whole sword fight's amazing.
Yeah, it rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing where like she tosses him her lightsaber and he like goes like and like puts it.
And she's been practicing this kind of backhanded lightsaber style.
Yeah, she does like a nice little
drop. Right.
Very cool.
Kind of like a Ahsoka. And then they win, right?
Yeah.
All bosses defeated.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, cool. So let's go back to the island and we'll be good guys together. And he's like, no.
I was just so delighted by all this.
Yeah.
I was so happy that it wasn't like some kind of flop where it's
Right.
like now Rey's good and Rey's evil and he's good.
Yeah.
And
out with the old, in with the new. We got to drop this
Snoke's
past.
gone because like I was sort of enjoying Snoke, but
Me too.
you know, you don't know who he is, and
Yeah.
if we're gonna care who he is, they're gonna need to suddenly do like a ton of Snoke shit. You know,
Snoke spinoff.
This movie would have to be like very Snokey.
Yeah.
Or it'd be, and you know, people over 2 years are going like, he's Darth Plagueis. And it's like, I was watching these people do this and being like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
You think after seeing Force Awakens that that's the character they're gonna sink all their energy
People
into?
thought he was Mace Windu. Do you know that theory?
Yes, because he's bald.
Yeah.
Like that's all they had going for
Yeah.
it. Oh God.
Anyway, Kylo's like, no, now I'm in fucking.
No, I mean, he's
you
calm.
join. Yeah, he's calm. But
He's
like,
calm. He's like, I
Right.
want you to join me. Let the past die.
right. It's not about the Resistance anymore. It's not about the First Order. It's about you and I ruling the galaxy together. We can make this right.
Because what's happening at the same time is that, you know, we'll get back to it, but Finn and, well, we should, whatever. You know, Finn and
kinda
Rose's
covered,
plan just kind of failed, and
Right,
like
they've
the
been
fleet's getting
captured.
shelled,
They've gone undercover as First Order officers, but evil BB-8.
who's pretty cool.
Yeah, and people were worried that was going to be like a big fucking
No,
thing.
he's just a bad little roundy.
Yeah, he's a bad little.
To quote Emily Yoshida,
He's a bad little roundy.
he's a bad little roundy.
He's a bad little roundy, and so they're sort of captured now. Oh, God. And yeah, he extends the offer to Rey, and she's like, hard pass.
I mean, it's an echo of something that's come before, but in a totally new dressing.
Yeah.
The sort of, you know, join me and we can rule the galaxy.
Yes.
She's not into it. She, you know, is going to get, well, we don't know what happens because then cut back to the fucking space turn.
Right.
We got to wrap up space turn because
Gotta wrap up Space
she's
Turn.
being really icy.
And Poe's pretty benched.
I'm
at
a
this
little
point.
worried.
Yeah.
And, you know, because I'm like, is she just going to be like the sort of, you know, cold lady character who Poe has to like sort of push aside? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, is
Well,
this
because
going
there's
to
that
be her
thing
whole...
where he like holds her at gunpoint.
Yeah, where he's
Right.
like, fuck you, your plan sucks.
Yeah.
You have no way of dealing with this, so I'm going to like put you in the brig and we're going to do Finn's whole crazy plan.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't work.
No.
And Leia shoots Finn,
Yes.
Poe, which is great.
Yeah.
With her old gun, with
yeah.
the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Space Turn.
Space turn. I mean, but well, before we get to space, do you like the throne room fight? Like, how did you
Yeah, I
feel?
love it.
How
It
shocked
rules.
were you by Snoke's death?
All of it.
Like,
Great.
were
Perfect.
But were you on board? I mean, like,
Yeah,
or-
100%.
On board's the wrong question. Like, were you prepared for that, or like,
No.
totally surprised, or whatever?
Yeah,
You know,
loved it. Loved it. And the double reverse, I loved it.
double reverse, pretty good.
Yeah.
But right at the same time, you've got Finn's plan failing, Finn and Rose's plan
Yes.
failing. Although Benicio's having fun.
Yeah, but I mean, yes.
There's
but
that cool little bit with her, you know, her jewelry thingy.
It's a good conductor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could've
we
used
left
a
out that whole
toothpick.
thing.
And the whole line he says to Finn where he's like, "Hey man, you know,
Yeah.
everyone's bad."
Yeah, because you made the wrong choice. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's going to come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He's
think
sort of the weird Lando.
He's sort of like Dark Lando,
Yeah.
like kind of Lando, except he doesn't like because when the AT-ST started firing at them, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe he's in there,
Right.
but he wasn't, which was good because that would have been maybe a little too
Right. Lando
sudden.
without the people skills.
Right.
Yeah.
So while Finn and but like you know, so while this plan of evacuation is being executed, Space Dern stays behind
Space Dern
to protect. And then as you know, the plan starts to fall apart and these little transports are getting shot.
Right.
She goes into hyperspace.
Well, because Leia's woken up at this point.
Yeah.
And
shoots Poe and is like, "Shut up! The plan makes sense." Which is essentially like we go to this little base over here.
And she explains to Poe,
Hunker
like,
down.
yeah, Holdo's doing the right thing. She's not about looking heroic. She's about getting the work done.
Right.
Maybe you should take a lesson
Fucking
from her.
idiot.
She's
Like-
a fucking fighter pilot. She rules. I taught her. She's Space Dern.
Your plan is 1 in a million, and like you know, we've had luck with that in the past, but
Yeah.
it's luck.
She got an Oscar nomination for less than 7 minutes of screen time in Wild.
She's
Maybe
good.
fucking shut up and pay attention.
And excuse me, by the way, she's good.
Yeah, take notes.
Oscar Isaac could have been wild.
Space Stern is good.
So the hyperspace
She goes
Ram,
on a fucking
Hyperspace
suicide
Ram.
mission.
Just really quick, Blue Velvet's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, of course it is.
Hopper's so crazy.
Blue Velvet. So Blue Velvet goes on her hyperspace ram. I don't know.
Yes.
What did you think of that? That's
Awesome.
really nice, and it's silent.
Yes.
It's an image we've never seen before.
Yeah, I hated that she was dying selfishly because I want a trilogy of Space Stern films.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She's kind of the Smiths of the new series, I
All
guess.
about Space Stern. Yeah, she's my Smith.
Yeah.
She's my Smith. She's my North Star.
Right.
Okay, so now, great sacrifice. She's taking out a bunch of ships. Finn fights Phasma, knocks her down to become bronzed.
Yeah. Rebel scum. You were always scum, rebel scum.
Yeah.
Get that one eye, one shot at Gwendolyn Christie's eye.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
And I hope in the next one when she comes back as zombie Phasma, bronze Phasma, and she takes off her mask, it turns out only that one eye looks human, the rest of her face is like...
She looks normal still underneath. And she's like, oh, this is what I always look like. I'm one human eye and then I'm bug. I'm all bug. She's cool. I like that they shoot at her and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That armor's cool.
Yeah.
Phasma, who cares?
Great. And so then what happens now? They're all sort of unified. They know the place to go, which is this salt planet. There's an old base there, and they can hide out there.
Sorry, what's the name of the planet again?
It's called Crate.
Crate. Love this planet.
White and red.
So it's like, oh, is this Hoth? No. Not cold.
Salt.
It's not snow. What is it, Ben?
Salty.
Guy spits it out. Salt.
Salty planet.
Garth Jennings goes like,
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards. Yeah, Garth Jennings is another one of those.
He's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right, yeah.
Hammer and Tongs or
Hammer
whatever the fuck
and
they're
Tongs,
called.
right.
Red dust though.
Red Dust is pretty cool.
So because I like dirt. I like when shit gets dirty.
And
this is good.
And the red salt mines when they go inside the cave are gorgeous looking.
Those like
red
crystalline
stalagmite.
structures.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, love it.
And the crystal critters.
Crystal foxes. Yeah.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah, good
it's
stuff.
sort of like a shitty old Rebel thing. You see them set up like the old Rebel laptops, like those
and it's
weird
like,
little.
oh, now the resistance is like Occupy Wall Street. They're like, does
this
anyone have the
is all
Wi-Fi
we've got.
password?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I like it. It's like, let's make it real fucking scrappy.
And their plan is like, well, now we're here. We can call the old original trilogy bros who are still like scattered out there, maybe, using Leia's like, use my code.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Right.
No one comes.
No one comes. And now the First Order is there with their guerrilla walkers.
Yes, but
what
also...
if AT-AT is gorilla?
They're cool, those things. But also before then, we've, had this great scene, which at my press screening, everyone laughed out loud. No one laughed in our screening, where Hux is standing over Kylo Ren. And he's just got this look of like, this fucking guy. And like takes his gun out, like he reaches for his gun.
Yeah.
And then Kylo Ren wakes up and he immediately is like, I forgot,
There's also that thing where like Hux is like, what are we going to do? We don't have a leader now.
Yeah, well, that's the next thing that happens.
Kylo force chokes him until he's like, we do have a leader.
Says, the Supreme Leader is dead.
Yeah. Long live the Supreme Leader.
Yeah.
There's also the best gag in the entire movie. If I'm going to give 1 million comedy points to anything, it is a shot of a ship slowly lowering down, thrusters.
So good.
I think to myself, that design looks a lot like
an iron.
And then it is, in fact, just an iron.
Pressing the beautiful fascist uniforms.
Yes. So that happened an hour ago in the movie, but I just want to call that out.
Good.
1 million comedy points. And then, they're sort of gearing up for this final battle. And who shows up? Old Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Where they're like, Hope is officially gone. He shows up. He looks great.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like old, like sort of the Luke we've glimpsed in flashback.
Cut
like
his
trainer
hair.
Luke.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks even younger.
He's not
less
wearing
craggy.
his like weird, island robes.
Right,
like,
he's
like
wearing
half snot.
sort of closer to like the Return of the Jedi outfit, the black sort of Jedi kind of thing. And he's has a lovely confrontation with Leia. I'm so happy they shot something with the two of them together.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Thank fucking God.
Where he's saying, sorry to her, she has the I changed my hairline that's really good.
Yeah. I love Carrie
Gives
Fisher.
3PO a little wink.
Yeah.
3PO is kind of funny in this movie.
Yeah.
I like the Leia line where she's like, wipe that expression off your face.
Yeah. I miss Carrie Fisher. I think
It's
she's
rough.
such a badass.
She is. She's badass in this.
And then there's the sort of final battle. They have these like creaky ships that
Cool
don't
ships.
really fly well, so they have to put out like a little tripod and sort of like skate.
Mono skis.
Mono skis.
Yes. And they've got open cockpits, which
Right.
I love.
And Rose is kind of having to like nudge Finn and help him. They're going towards this big sort of blaster gun they have, and Finn thinks that he has to make the sacrifice.
Mhm. Yeah, everyone else. I mean, Poe has that moment of like, oh, he's learned his lesson where he's like, this is a suicide run. We're not going to destroy this gun.
Yeah.
Like as much as we might want to be badasses.
Right.
So break off. And Finn is now, they're like, no, we got to do it. Like,
Right.
he's ready to die.
Yeah.
Rose saves him.
Yeah.
I love it.
Says the line you love.
We're not going to win like killing the things. And now I've forgotten it,
I find it a little sweaty that she's passed out. Then he shakes her. She says this one line beautifully, kisses him, and then passes out again. When she comes to, she's very alert. And then she immediately passes out again.
Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Come on, man.
But then Luke comes out, fucking lone man, and they realize like, oh, Luke's taking the hit for us. He knows we need to survive so that the resistance can exist.
Right.
This is our opportunity to escape. How do we get out of here? Let Luke take this.
Yeah.
Lone man facing out against the ships.
Right. Their
fire
escape is less
everything.
important. It's the
Right.
the Luke
everything
thing.
you got against him.
Yeah, but I just love Adam Driver in this scene so much.
Yeah.
And also I love that joke, the similar joke where when the Millennium Falcon shows up and Rey is helping out
Yeah.
with Chewie.
Yeah.
And she like diverts the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And Oscar Poe is like, they hate that ship. Or
Yeah.
Finn is. I can't remember. One of the,
Yeah.
And that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good
Because
comedy.
it's the Millennium Falcon.
Yes. So they fire everything. Luke is unscathed. He brushes the dirt off his shoulder.
It's great.
A little too much paprika on the sandwich.
No,
for me.
I clap.
And you do. And then Kylo comes out for the confrontation.
Yeah, David. Yeah,
I like to clap.
all right.
Oh, Ben hated
You're
that.
trolling Ben right now.
Go on.
And Luke tries to convince Kylo
No, he doesn't. What do you mean?
that he's wrong.
No, he doesn't. Not really. He says, I'm not here. Like Kylo Ren's like, are you here to apologize? And Luke's like, no. And Kylo Ren's like, good.
Yeah.
And then Luke is essentially saying like, you can't beat me.
Yeah.
You strike me down, I'm never going to leave
Yeah,
you.
back off, motherfucker.
Just like your father.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren tries to strike him down and doesn't work. Just like it hasn't been working.
Yeah. Goes right through him.
I just love how Driver is playing this mix of like total fear and total rage in one person at one, like Luke is so frightening to him.
So can I ask you something that's been...
It turns out Luke's like a forced projection. Like he's like manifested himself on this planet.
What do you think the movie accomplishes by doing that when he's going to sacrifice himself anyway?
What do you mean? The whole point is that he's keeping Kylo, like he would just get destroyed immediately. Like one shot and he's dead. The whole point is that he's stalling.
Yeah,
The
I know
whole
that.
point is
I know
he
that.
buys them many minutes of time by and beyond
Making
that,
himself a Force hologram.
it's really important that he looks like the man Kylo Ren last saw.
Sure,
He
sure,
looks like
sure.
Luke, who we've
Yeah.
seen. He looks exactly like Luke in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Rather than scraggly old, alien tit milk Luke.
Right, and then you get the reveal that he's like Phase 3 Iron Man, where he wasn't actually there,
Right.
and he's back in the cave wearing the white robes.
He's literally like this, like Ghost of Christmas Past for Kylo Ren. Like that's
Yeah.
what he's
Yeah,
doing.
Yeah,
It also just would not make a lot of sense that Luke got there. How the
Sure.
fuck would he get there?
sure.
I mean, we see his X-wing in the water,
Yeah,
like under the water,
Yeah.
but his door is made of an X-wing like piece.
yeah. He salvaged that.
Like
shit.
that ship's not really like so.
He's
It's
got
like
a book of Henry House,
right.
And
I think it's just also like Han did cool Han shit, flying around and shooting stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like Luke is a Jedi.
yeah,
It's cool that he does a crazy Jedi thing.
yeah, sure.
You
and,
know.
and he lets himself go. He sort of surrenders to the Force in
I
the
think
way
it's
that Obi-Wan did.
a nice, different way
Yeah.
to kill off a legacy character when Han obviously got a saber.
Before he
last
was a
time,
hologram, that's what I thought was going to happen, was that Kylo Ren would charge at him. Before he gets there, he would turn into the robes.
Right, but I think
And instead they do it back in the cave.
I think what I didn't like about that is, one, that's Obi-Wan. So it's like sort of
Sure.
like you're rhyming it too much, and Han's death is so Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
It's such a like specific
Yeah. Yeah.
echo of it.
Right.
And I love the thing of Luke on the rock, seeing the twin sons of Tatooine as he dies. That's such a smart image.
Yeah, you got really choked up.
It's so good.
It's really good.
And it's so like poetic. Like this movie is poetic in a way these movies usually can't be bothered to be, or don't have the strength, whatever, don't have the sort of time to be, maybe. It's like that is a very like simple, effective image.
And meanwhile,
that's borrowing from the past, but using it for an interesting new way.
Rey has landed on Crate, and they've all tried to find an escape out of these caves.
Right, and she does her cool Jedi shit too.
Yeah, she gets them all out,
lifting rocks.
And her and Finn.
She gets to hug Finn.
Yeah.
She gets to meet Poe,
which is a really good joke.
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
They never met.
Yeah. And they're like, what are we going to do? The Resistance, we're bootstrap it here. And Leia's like, we got everything we need. Like, look at
everything
us.
we need.
Oscar Isaac, Chewbacca, 3 porgs.
BB-8.
Yeah.
The other
Bertram
droids.
8. Yeah.
Bobby Bertram 8.
Yeah. They got a good skeleton crew.
They've got that sort of alien guy who sort of...
the
Elo Asti.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
he's so cool. I love that guy.
He's nice.
Yeah. Did they still have a PZ-4CO? You know that guy? He's like the blue droid with the long neck, the giraffe neck.
I don't know.
He's a really cool design who's been at the Resistance base in the last 2 movies. I can't remember if he's still alive at this point or not.
Constable Zubio is there, obviously.
You got Connix.
Yeah, she's
Connix?
still around.
I think Connix is still there. Connix? Am I right about Connix?
Yeah, I love that look Rey gives where she sees this bond Finn and Rose have made. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look jealous or sad. She just sort of acknowledges it.
I think she looks a little sad
in
a way
wistful,
that's...
perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I don't know if that could have been a thing with us, but now I've
Probably not.
Right. And it's the sacrifice of the Jedi.
She also has the great long goodbye with Kylo where they see each other again.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. I think that's very well handled. I think it's all
There's also
handled.
a really nice joke of when Leia sees Chewbacca for the first time. She gives him a long hug because everyone criticized the last movie.
Oh, really? I didn't pick up on that, so I will watch for that.
It happens earlier in the movie.
No,
but she goes like, Chewbacca, so nice to see you.
Love you, Chewbacca.
Because at the end of Force Awakens, he walks right past her.
And, The Empire Strikes Back ends on such a bummer, right?
Yeah. You think this is how the movie's ending with this, like, we got a good team, and then there's, like, this, like, fucking Vanity Fair, like, fold-out,
right. Of them all
Annie Leibovitz spread of all of them, like, posed perfectly like a Christmas card.
And a shot of the Falcon, like, flying through hyperspace.
And you're like, weird ending. And then it cuts
ending.
to a really beautiful ending.
I think it's gorgeous. Like, the kids...
Yeah.
Telling the story
this
of
little Cinderella boy.
The kids from the
little sweeper
Casino
in the
Planet.
Basement. Telling the story with the ring. He's got the dolls.
Of Luke's, triumph and like
he's
that's
doing a little merchandise
the
spotlight.
whole.
He's passing on the legacy.
Oh Jesus, he has to do the merchandise spotlight.
He's passing on the legacy.
Yeah,
and
we're
then
wrapping this up.
his shitty slave master alien yells at him, and he
cool
goes
guy.
out with his broom, and he looks off.
No, but what does he
sees,
do with the broom? You didn't pick up on this?
What, he starts swinging around like a lightsaber?
No, he calls the broom to his hand.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got force powers.
That's why I think this kid's going to be a key figure in whatever the Rian Johnson thing is.
Like some older version of him,
yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to be this kid.
No, I think it is. I think it is. It's going to be that kid.
They're going to wait 40 years for him to become older, though.
Right. It's going to be Boyhood. That's what he's doing, Boyhood.
Yeah.
What's your fucking merchandise spotlight? Oh, no. The worst kind of merchandise spotlight is when Griffin immediately looks at the floor, backs up.
Where we know it's a visual bit.
We hear rustling. Yeah, a great visual bit for our
demonstration.
Fan. He's got a purple bag.
It's from Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
What's your favorite branch of Toys R Us that you go to?
Well, there are only... there's a new one in Times Square now, but I don't know how permanent it is. And then there is the one near here at Herald Square. New York City lost its best Toys R Us, which was the proper Times Square one. There's a one in the Bronx that I like to go to because no one goes there, and sometimes they have good items. But this is unimportant.
Interesting.
This is unimportant, David, okay?
Okay.
Because since The Last Jedi product line was revealed around August, September for Force Friday, I have been inundated with @tweets. When are you going to weigh in on this?
Okay.
The new advancement in the toy line. Because you may remember in the year 1999, Kenner announced that now toys talk.
Yes.
With the invention of the Comtech chip.
Comtex, right?
Figures too small to include a voice chip themselves came with plastic dog tags that you could swipe across a reader that vaguely looks like a prop from the film in order to make toys talk.
Yes.
A conclusive failure. Something that
Except
only
for this podcast.
I liked, and I brought it a little bit of a second wind.
Right.
Clearly, they would never try something like that again. Except they did. These crazy bastards did it. In the same way that the new fucking trilogy rhymes with things in the old trilogy, they have created the Force Link.
Oh, no.
Okay? So here's what this new fucking toy line is. The smaller figures, which is not my scale, usually. I tend to be a 6-inch man.
Sure.
But I'm delving into the 3 3/4 inch waters for the sake of this spotlight, buying items I would not have bought otherwise.
You just removed a cloak. A plastic cloak.
Okay, this is the Force Link starter set, okay?
Oh, no. So this isn't even a toy.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Because it comes with a little Kylo.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
that's cool.
And a little cloak. And then rather than the communicator you had to get for
Sure.
the Comtech chips,
Right, which was stupid.
this is even dumber.
Uh-huh.
You have to wear this
Oh,
thing
my God.
on your wrist.
It's like the size of a fucking... it's so big.
Yeah, it's really shitty, and you have to wear it, on the
looks
back
like-
of your wrist like this, which is really counterintuitive.
It looks like the beacon that they have in
Correct.
the movie. Yeah.
much like the Comtech was supposed to look like that fucking thing.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
So you have to wear this thing on the back of your forearm, and then flip your wrist up to activate it, and you put a figure in your hand, and then when you...
It was working before.
Because the angles are the problem. There we go. Okay, so now if I swing, it makes lightsaber noises, and if I tap it...
I mean, I guess Sure. I guess I can see that if you are a kid who wants to play
Yeah.
with your toys,
Yeah.
it's sort
Which
of...
I'm not. I'm a serious adult collector.
Right. It sort of hides the, like, you can do it all in one hand. I guess
Yeah.
is that the idea of it?
Okay, you want to hear my take?
Yeah.
I hate it. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous.
I think if you want to hold toys in your hand and make noises, you can make them with your mouth. This takes so many tries to get right.
All right.
But
enough,
also, they had a
Kylo.
buy one, get one 40% off deal.
We should let him keep
So
going.
I
I mean,
also-
we'll get it
Amazingly,
in
I
at 3
have
hours.
a hard out 4 hours from when we started. Didn't think to mention it. It's Rey?
And the guard thing.
So are those guards a Knight of Ren, or are they just guards?
No, they're elite Praetorian guards.
So we still don't know what
Ben's head is literally down on the console.
we still don't know what happened to the Knights of Ren, right?
No,
Yeah, interesting.
Ben's asleep.
I wonder if they'll like have a role in Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I should have gotten Space Nisio. I wish I had gotten him. I want to hear Benicio del Toro. I'll say the audio quality on this is better than the Comtech chips, but I think it's even dumber.
We should say that Space Nisio del Toro is called DJ. But I don't know if his name
Pretty
is
sure
really
his
set.
name is Space Nisio del Toro.
Here's how Del Toro likens his character
Okay.
to a knife. Ooh.
I'm trying to make this.
So
happen. These guys don't talk, so
yeah,
it just,
they don't have any lines.
it just
They're talking about the Red Boys.
makes a sword noise.
Do you think they like Red Bull?
Yes.
Ben just had to move his whole head to say yes. All right, that's enough of that.
Okay.
Really crinkle it up though, yeah.
I'm with the resistance.
So you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't bought this.
The First Order are everywhere.
Everywhere.
True.
It's bad
All right,
product.
make a predictions. End this.
Okay.
Enough! I'm not done. Del Toro likens his character to a knife, saying, if you grab him by the blade, he'll cut you. If you grab him by the handle, he can be very useful.
Let's talk about this more. We haven't had enough episode. I think it makes 215 this weekend.
Sure.
They're predicting 210 right now.
Yeah.
I think
It had 45 on Thursday night alone. It's going to have about 100 on Friday, they say.
Yeah, sure. I think the backlash is going to even out. I think the early critics were like overly enthusiastic. I think now the hardcore Star Wars obsessives are overly negative, and I think we'll end up with people going like, yeah, I like Star Wars.
Right.
Good movie, excited about the next one. I think it will make significantly less than The Force Awakens. But it's also worth noting that like Empire did the least of the original trilogy. And
Well, it'll make less than The Force Awakens, of
Yeah,
course.
right.
Nothing's going to make more than that thing.
it'll make like 650.
No, it'll make more than that, I think. That's a good bet. You're saying 650?
You think it's going to crack 7?
I'm going to go like like let's say 750. I'm essentially betting it makes in between Force Awakens and Rogue One. So 750.
Okay. Rogue One made 530. Is that right? 560?
Right.
So,
Rogue One essentially made 500 and Force Awakens essentially made $1 billion.
So if we're going Price is Right rules without going over, I'm going to stay at 600.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm claiming the 600s.
I get it.
Okay.
You can have it if you want. I just think I'll be closer.
I'll take it.
But I don't know. Maybe I won't be. I mean, I don't stop that.
I'm not actively doing it. The thing
Take
doesn't
your
turn
fucking
off.
thing- Oh, God.
I regret buying these. This isn't my scale. I'm a 6-inch boy.
Okay. What are those?
3 3/4 inch.
You realize what that sounds like, right?
I know. You think I'm not owning my bit? You think I'm not a master of comedy?
I don't know. I marked cutting out your cock jokes.
Don't do that.
Fat cock.
Cut that out. There's no room for that kind of talk on this podcast.
Fucking shit.
Sacred podcast.
That's a 3 3/4 inch.
Performance review.
Weaker sculpts.
Mark
Less
Hamill.
room for articulation. Limited paint ops.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Good. Everyone's good in this movie. Who are we going to give a bad review to?
I don't know. Maybe you really hated Daisy Ridley in this movie.
Oh, she rules. I'd still like to take her out to a pasta dinner.
No, we're not having your little routine about the sad boy taking Daisy Ridley out for dinner.
You're right. You're right. You know what?
Yeah.
I've come into some money lately. I have a steady job and the start of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take her out to steak.
Okay. All right.
Steak, lobster, or a vegetarian equivalent. I don't know what her diet
Unfortunately,
is.
she only eats fish.
Okay, then I'll take her out to a lobster dinner.
I was reading about
Is
her
that true?
diet recently. Yes, she watched some documentary that freaked her out about food production. Was a vegan for a while. Realized she could not hack it as a vegan, so she reintroduced fish. But that's it.
Okay, so Griffin Nooms on the record. Hey, Daisy Ridley. Anytime you want a Bronzino, it's on me.
Sounds good.
I don't want to brag, but I'm on a streaming TV show, so we're both doing okay right now.
That's true.
You're the star of Star Wars.
Yeah, she's like optioning things. You know, she's like a fucking mogul now.
Yeah, well, I don't want to brag, but
You own her in 3 3/4 inch plastic size.
yeah.
I'm with the resistance.
We get it. She's with the fucking resistance.
Bronzino, baby, on the record.
Anything else?
It'll just be a nice dinner. A nice Bronzino dinner. I want to compare notes.
I feel like you need to see the movie again, obviously.
Yeah, I do.
What are your plans?
See it again in a theater.
Great plan.
I'll probably see it again this
I
weekend.
mean, do you have any? Yes.
No, I don't.
any
I don't
set
have
plans?
I don't have set plans right now. But I'll see it again soon.
Do you think this is our greatest episode ever?
I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. We've also been on like a good run. That's the thing. And we were like, oh, here's a gimme, going back to the well, Star Wars, we can't fail. And this has been a train wreck. Ben has literally left the studio. It is now midnight. New York City is on fire. I'm surrounded.
It's like snowing outside.
I'm surrounded by merchandise I have no place for in my collection. Like, I have a Star Wars display, and this will be incongruous next to the rest of it. As I said, the scale is off.
It's
I'm gonna put a fucking 3 3/4 inch Rey next to a fucking 6-inch Lando.
what a bad ending.
It's a good.
What a great movie.
It's a good movie. A good ending.
Where does it go in your rankings, or do you need to see it again?
I need to see it again.
What are your rankings right now?
Right now, I'll tell you. Right now, my rankings are. I think I literally go Star Wars,
You go 4,
Empire Strikes Back,
5,
Return of the Jedi.
6. Right.
I cannot decide whether I place this and Force Awakens
Uh-huh.
are kind of neck and neck right now. Different reasons. And then I go Phantom Menace,
Wow.
Rogue One,
Uh-huh.
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely, I know it's hacky, but it's like, yeah, this is number 3.
Ahead of Jedi?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Nah.
Jedi rules and it's for cool kids.
Is it?
Yeah, it's for cool kids.
No, this is a movie that just has actual things I'd never seen in a Star Wars movie before. And what I'm talking about, like over and over again, where it's like poeticism, like attention to like camera detail and design detail that I feel like has been lacking for even in like Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Which I think is a nice movie with cool robots and monsters.
And a movie that's willing to take
narrative risks.
Narrative risks, moral stands, comment on the world we're in today. Ben's angry at the podcast is still going on. Thank you very much for listening to this postscript at the end of an episode.
I think we kept it kind of short this time for the postscript.
The episode itself was really short.
That's a good point.
The episode itself is really, this is just bonus content.
No one's listening to this.
This is just for Patreon subscribers.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is the longest postscript we've ever done.
Wow, I think Ben's like pretending to be mad and failing, and he's just mad.
Ben, can I give you a present? Do you want a Red Boy? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
he
make
likes
you feel
the Red
better.
Boys.
You like the Red Boy?
Do I get a toy?
His sword cuts in half. Yeah. Do you want Kylo or do you want Rey?
I think I want Kylo, even though it's a tough choice. I like them both.
Yeah.
I mean, those are my faves.
Where's my... Yeah, see, look, now you guys love it. It's a great time.
I
Everyone's
just don't
having
want
fun.
that insane apparatus.
I'm not giving it to you. I want the apparatus. That's the only thing I do want.
Because then you'll know who's in the resistance.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want. I want this apparatus, and I want a Space Nisio. Because the only use for this apparatus is to be able to make Space Nisio talk.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I like the idea of his voice coming out of this.
You don't like these? I mean, they're pretty cool.
They're pretty solid.
They are kind of little.
They're little.
Yeah, I feel like my action figures when I was a kid, they were a little bigger than this.
No, your hands are small. That is the classic Star Wars size, and
All right,
lately
okay.
they've been making them bigger. But that is the old vintage Star Wars.
I never
size.
had a lot of Star Wars though. I mostly had X-Men.
Those were
action
bigger. Those
figures.
were 5
Those
inches.
Those were, yeah.
Look, you can get me started on scales. I can go deep into it. The industry is in turmoil right now. Hasbro buying Mattel would disrupt everything. They would own both DC and Marvel, and it would be a big issue. So I'm getting a phone call.
Who's calling?
It's my landlord. Hopefully the heat's turned back on.
I hope so. That would be a nice
answer
ending.
it on.
Yeah, great.
Might as well.
David, wrap up the episode.
Okay, thank you all for listening.
Hello?
Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Hey, yeah,
Thanks to
hey,
Ange
how's it going?
Ferragudo for our social media, Joe Bowen and Pat Reynolds for our artwork, Leanne Montgomery recording the theme song. And that's it, right, Ben? Oh, go to blankies.reddit.com for some real nerdy shit. And as always, let's find out.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, let me know what's going on. But I appreciate the amount of energy you're putting into this. It's frustrating. Yeah. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. And as always, I still don't have heat in my apartment.